Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. Browse over 40 hot tubs from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. Financing is available and show admission is free. That's this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Dayton. Visit spashow.com.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
At Allstate, we've been saying you're in good hands for a long time. But what exactly does that mean? Does it mean you're protected from life's uncertainties? Does it mean you can worry less and live a little more? Does it mean you're not alone, even when things get kind of hard? Actually, yes. Yes, it does. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
From city streets to back roads, from road warrior to carpooler, there are some things you can always count on, like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
If only there was stuff to talk about. If only the sports world would actually provide us with some sports to talk about. I tell you what. Something to talk about.
Nothing at all.
Nothing that I care to talk about. I don't want to talk about the Bengals being good. And I don't want to talk about my Browns being bad and Cowboys starting to suck it up. And Wright State's not playing real well. Good at all. Let's see. What else is going on? Ohio State lost. I don't really want to talk about that. Woo. They're not going to make the playoff. I don't really want to talk about that. Nothing going on.
Nothing at all.
Oh, the Reds. No, the Reds aren't doing squat either. Haven't even made a move.
Well, the good part about that is there probably will be a work stoppage in baseball.
Well, the Reds have been preparing for a work stoppage by basically doing a work stoppage since the All-Star break of last year. But anyways, all right, lots to talk about today. Of course, the big news, the rumbling started late last night. Look, LSU, look, this has been fascinating. We've known about some of these job openings for quite some time. We knew Ed Orgeron was going to, coach out the remainder of the regular season. And then, the Tigers and Ed Orgeron were going to part ways. We knew that was going to happen. LSU, there was all the big names out that you could think about that could potentially be circulating out there. Look, we knew there was a chance they were going to get a big name. We knew there was a chance USC was going to get a big name. That the two big names that both schools ended up getting are two names that nobody saw coming. I can tell you right now, Lincoln Riley to USC, never would have guessed in a million years that would have been the case. You look at Bryan Kelly taking the LSU job. It doesn't even look right, by the way. Like he doesn't, I don't look at Bryan Kelly as, I think he has a Big Ten makeup. I could see Bryan Kelly, like if Jim Harbaugh in Michigan ever moved on, like I always envisioned, even though someone look at it as taking a step back, but it's not taking a shot at Michigan. But you know what I mean? Bryan Kelly, to me, he looks and coaches like a Big Ten style coach. I just don't view him as an SEC coach. But you know what? He's heading to LSU. New Tigers head coach. I mean, last night it's announced he's met with his team by 7 a.m. this morning. I guess it was an 11-minute meeting, and off he went. And people are losing their minds. And I will say, I've learned from this. Notre Dame fans never, ever thought Bryan Kelly was going to leave. This year, at least. Because it's Notre Dame, to be fair.
Right. Destination job.
It's a destination job. Ohio State's a destination job. If you're ranking destination jobs, I wouldn't put Oklahoma at the top of that list, but that is a destination job. Right. That job opens up, and you're at a Cincinnati, you're at a Tulsa, you're at a Houston. That's a job you target. If you can get there, more power to you. If you've been a coordinator like Venables has been for quite some time at Clemson, that's the job you want right there. That's probably where that's heading. But we as Buckeye fans need to stop being so naive and thinking that this couldn't happen to us. Like, Lincoln Riley and Ryan Day, they're the same. I think that Ryan Day has the better job, but Oklahoma's not a bad job either. Like, we can't sit here and act like, well, a little Oklahoma over there. Well, yeah, that's a great job, though. And it's even more intriguing because I think the last thing the Oklahoma expected, especially after announcing the transition to the SEC, was that their big-name head coach was just going to up and bail on them, right? This has been the craziest 48-hour news cycles in sports that I can remember in quite some time, Kev, because a lot of the things that have happened aren't expected. It's not like when you head into NFL free agency and the news is coming in left and right, you're expecting that. Major League Baseball, free agency, offseason stuff, we're expecting a lot of stuff to hit the fan over and over. Like, when the news is coming in, it's not overwhelming us because we expected it. This has been different. And we knew LSU was going to find a coach at some point. I did not expect it to be Bryan Kelly. I knew USC was going to find a coach at some point. I thought that the biggest name that they can get would have been Luke Fickel. They ended up getting, obviously, Oklahoma's old coach in Lincoln Riley. So I never would have guessed any of this stuff would have happened. That's what's made this last 48 hours so crazy. It's been a whirlwind. Ohio State, Michigan, that game seemed like ages ago. I feel like that was all the way back in, early 2021, not us heading into 2022. That's how much has happened from the time Ohio State, Michigan kicked off to our show kicking off here just a few moments ago. The news cycle in the sports world has been insane.
Yeah, the Buckeye game happened all the way back on the 27th?
All the way back. It's the 30th, by the way, and it's all the way back on the 27th.
Where do you want to start? Which one you want to start with? You want to start with Bryan Kelly? You want to start with Lincoln Riley? Which one you want to break down? I touched on Lincoln Riley yesterday.
I'll just give you a quick synopsis of that. I love that move. I don't blame him for taking that move. People are going to sit there and say, well, these guys are only chasing money. Yes, money has a lot to do with it, but this is groundbreaking money, by the way. This isn't like, they offered him $7.5 million. I mean, we're talking record-breaking amounts of money right now. Of course he's going to pursue that, but winning at Oklahoma is great. Super. Winning at USC, even better. Oh, he's afraid. He's afraid of the SEC, and that's why he's going to the Pac-12. You can call it being afraid all you want, but the bottom line is I've actually been ripping coaches for going to the SEC. Why go cannibalize yourself? There's some really, really good coaches in the SEC that should be taking jobs in the Pac-12, that should be taking jobs in the Big Ten or the ACC, where, yes, it technically is viewed as easier to win right now, but at the same time, that's how you keep your job. Why do you? Let's stop with this idea that you're going to go to the SEC and become Alabama. There's been one Alabama for 2 decades now, and it's Alabama. Actually, it's been a decade, but it feels like 2 decades. But you see my point. There's been one Alabama since Nick Saban got there. That's it. Ryan Day has done a fantastic job with Ohio State, not on Alabama's level. Urban Meyer, we thought, was the golden age of Ohio State football. That wasn't even on Clemson's level. That's not me taking a shot at Ohio State. Look, I'm wearing the Buckeye gear. I have the Buckeye office. I'm going to the Ohio State Duke game tonight. I know that's basketball. My point is, am I wrong in saying that? Kev, like, to sit there and go to the SEC and think that you're going to go there and you're going to dominate Alabama, that's not happening. And now you got Georgia, who Kirby Smart's done a pretty damn good job as well. Now you could say, well, Kirby Smart's why you go to the SEC, because he's proving you can do it. How many schools are going to be that patient with you? How many schools are going to give you that amount of time, especially with how much money you're getting paid? You think they're going to pay him that much money to go to the SEC and take 4 or 5 years to figure it all out like Michigan gave Harbaugh? No. Like, you're expected to win right away. So I don't blame Lincoln Riley one bit for taking the USC job, and he will be a football god if he turns that university around. Winning a national championship with Oklahoma, yes, Kev, he'll be, he'll be interlocked in the history of Sooners football for eternity. I get that. But doing that at USC, winning at USC, winning a national championship at USC, just getting them to the playoff. I mean, my goodness, Kev, he will be a football god when he brings a national championship. And I can't tell you, that was such a big move. The last time a big coaching move like that was made, it was when Urban went to Ohio State, in my opinion. That's the last time I got this juiced about a coaching move. And this isn't even my team. But I think it's great for college football, starting with Lincoln Riley.
It's huge for college football. Lincoln Riley leaving a program the stature of Oklahoma to go to USC. That's the story to me. That normally we hear about, up and coming coaches going to big programs and then, getting their shot into big leagues, a la Urban Meyer from Bowling Green to Utah to Florida and everything like that. It's very rare that a guy comes in, is handpicked by Stoops to be the OC and to be the heir apparent, and he succeed to the level he did, going to college football playoffs, getting guys drafted in the first round, getting guys in that offense and winning Heisman trophies and everything like that. Oklahoma is a destination job. And when USC went big game hunting they went big game hunting. Like, we heard all the rumors, Carson Palmer on Dan Patrick's show talking about Mike Tomlin and like these names that are floated out there. Like, I never thought that Lincoln Riley was on the table for them. I thought Lincoln Riley would be on the table for an NFL job, not another college job, because it's Oklahoma. So him going there, that's next level. They broke open the checkbook. They're buying both of his houses in Oklahoma.
By the way, $500,000 over asking price. I felt like a badass when we put an offer in of a couple thousand over our asking price, and I felt like a badass doing that. So this dude, the school's paying $500,000 over the asking price each.
Yeah. So the house that he's living in, was living in Oklahoma, they bought, the one he was built. Let's be clear. He had plans on staying in Oklahoma. He was building a mansion in Oklahoma. And they said, well, don't worry about that. We'll buy both of them. And, oh, yeah, you want a private jet? We got you one of those, too. For your personal use, for recruiting use. I mean, they wowed him. They blew him away. And, I mean, we're all Midwesters here. No disrespect, but would you rather live in Oklahoma or live in Cali?
But to be fair, the opportunity to go to USC has been around for years. Not maybe for Lincoln Riley, but like there's a lot of big name coaches out there that could have easily made that transition. So it's like you got to ask, Lincoln Riley, what, that lifestyle that he's been offered. Have they not offered that before?
Maybe not.
But Lincoln Riley
they weren't as desperate.
So Lincoln Riley was on Colin Cowherd's show earlier today, and he said the one reason that he decided to pull the trigger on this is he just felt in the interview process that, and it almost sounds like he was saying that they were desperate, but he couldn't word it that way. But for like that they had finally made up in their mind that from the front, from the top down, I almost said front office, but let's be honest, with the money that's being thrown around, it's a front office. With USC's front office, their athletics department, he got the vibe that they had said to hell with the way we were doing things before. We got to do things if we want to get to where we want to be. We got to do things different. And he said, and he felt like he got that vibe when he was there, not just on what they offered him, but based on the plans for how they were going to pursue recruiting, how they were going to pursue, positioning themselves for the playoff, which always sounds so like schematical, but I'm like, just win, like just recruit, do what you're doing at Oklahoma, recruit well, win football games, and you'll be just fine. So, I mean, it is amazing to me. It's like USC, what did you do differently this time? Was it the jet? What were you doing this time that you weren't
maybe
doing
it's the
before?
Pitch person.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what's crazy to me.
Think about their athletic director. Think about the last two hires that he's made. He is now hired Luke Fickel at UC.
By the way, Shaw, of course. Oh, I'd rather live in Oklahoma. My goodness.
I'm straight. I'm now with that bag that he just got. I'm living on somebody's beach out there in Cali. But, Mike Baum, I think his name is, their athletic director at USC. He was the athletic director at UC, hired Fickel. Now he's hired Lincoln Riley at USC. Like, this man is out here finding the talent and bringing the talent to them. And the other thing about Lincoln Riley is obviously he was a player at Texas Tech. He has Oklahoma. Most of their players come from Texas. So it has that. But their quarterbacks and their playmakers on the outside, a lot of those dudes come from California. So all the quarterbacks that are just leaving California, coming to Ohio State, like CJ, leaving California, going to Ole Miss, Matt Corral, DJ Ualangale. Did I say that right? I think I said that right.
You got the DJ part right.
Close enough.
We all go away.
He's from California. He went all the way to South Carolina. He's going to make sure, his job is to make sure those dudes don't leave California. His job is to make sure they go to USC. So it's a big boss move. So the question now transitions into, what does Oklahoma do? Where do they go? Who do they get? Obviously, the usual suspect names start floating out there, the Luke Fickels and everything like that. But for me, you go to something that somebody that somebody that knows the program inside and out, and you bring him back to the program. That's the defensive coordinator at Clemson. You bring him back and say, hey, man, this is your show now. This is your show. That's what I think the move is going to be for them.
And as far as, look, and this is great for college football. This was great for college football because, this year's college football playoff journey is fun for a lot of reasons. I know you have your Georgia and Alabama. You're used to seeing them up at the top. But by Michigan beating, there's a good chance Georgia beats Alabama, by the way, and Alabama's not relevant in this conversation either. So let's just assume that Georgia wins. Okay, you have Georgia, who's a regular in the playoff, super. But now you have Michigan, in the equation. You have Oklahoma State in the equation. You have Cincinnati in the equations. Somehow, some way, Notre Dame is still in the equation. But there's a lot of teams, new, fresh blood in this equation. And look how fun that has been this year. And I don't think it's always going to be like that. I think next year it's going to return back to your Ohio States, to your Alabamas. I think Clemson returns to form. By the way,
I sure hope so.
Clemson reminds me a lot right now, Kev, of that Oregon team or that USC team with Sam Darnold years ago. Remember, they lost 3 games early on in the season, and then they won their final 9 games or whatever it was. And everyone's like, man, they are playing like a top 4 team in the country, but you can't put a 3-loss team in the playoff. You just can't do it. That's Clemson right now, by the way. Clemson has played lights out football. They do have 3 losses, all 3 losses against top 25 teams. But you look up, Kev, you would think that they're having such a horrible season. They're 9-10 win team right now. Yeah. Like that's how they're going to end. So if a down year for Clemson is a 9 to 10 win year, you'll take those, because remember who Clemson was 10 years ago before, back when Clemsoning was a thing, right? Yeah. So at this point, you got to look around. So Clemson, they're going to return, okay? You're going to have your Ohio State back to form. Maybe Michigan decides that they want to be a real program and do this more than just once every 4 years. Or if they want to be an Iowa-type program that hits every 4 years, more power to them. But let's assume Michigan's still there in the equation, great. You're going to have your Alabamas and Georgias, great. And then what? Because Oklahoma, you would have to assume, is going to take a step back. Texas is Texas. I have no faith that all of a sudden they're just going to magically return to form. I mean, they can. We said the same thing about Michigan. But the Pac-12 desperately needs somebody. And the somebody that everyone's been pointing at saying, well, it's USC. They're not doing anything. That's going to change. I don't think it's going to be this upcoming season. Someone just asked in the comment section how long before they're relevant. They're relevant now. The early signing period's coming up, in 2-3 weeks? Yeah. Watch how many guys he flips in just that time period.
Right. Well, you also got to think, man, the transfer portal. You saw how many guys from Oklahoma's roster already jumped into the transfer portal. Their wide receiver, obviously Spencer Rattler, jumped in the transfer portal already. So guys are going to follow him. Like the recruiting class that was headed to Oklahoma, we're going to say if it's 20 of them, 10 of them are going to go to USC to follow him. And there's no telling how many guys that are currently on the Oklahoma roster that are going to follow him to USC.
And that's a good point. So this happened with Ohio State with Urban Meyer, where everyone was always interested in Ohio State, right? But like the second Urban went there, it's like, I'm sold. They just want to play for a winner. This is why, and I heard Joel Klatt talk about this earlier on Colin's show. He's talking about this myth out there when he hears coaches and leaders of high schoolers saying, don't go for the coach, go for the program. He goes, that's such a fallacy. That doesn't make any sense. He goes, of course they're going for the coach. You always go for the coach. You may tell people I'm going because, the professors seem nice and the classroom size is great and they're going to give me a tutor. You mean it always comes down to the coach. He goes, this idea that there's always these little myths in sports that drive him crazy. And the one that's at the top of his list is don't go to the school for the coach. You go to the school for what you're comfortable. Well, you think that they're going to be, if they love everything at the school but they hate the coach, you think they're going to do well? Right. No, it's always about the coach. So that's the thing. Like we saw with Urban Meyer at Ohio State, it was an instant change, and it wasn't even a program that needed a lot of change, right? You're going to see that at USC. It's going to be instant. There's going to be guys who are on the fence about where they want to go next year, who haven't committed or have verbally committed, that are going to be like, oh man, like people are talking USC now. Yep. And talking about it in a good way. And they're talking about I almost said Matt Campbell because I'm going to get to his name coming up in a moment, but they're talking about Lincoln Riley and the success is there. The quarterbacks, I mean, that's the thing too. You get your quarterbacks, you get your skill set, or you get your skill players, you get your wide receivers. Who's not going to want to go play for USC now? If you are a star quarterback, if you're a star wide receiver, a star running back, who's not going to want to go play for one of the best young offensive-minded coaches in all of college football? USC, they don't even have to oversell it. It's USC. It's Cali. It's L.A. All right, you have Will Ferrell. You have Snoop Dogg. You have all these stars at these games. They want to watch. They want to be there. They're going to be there, and you're going to be a part of it. All of the great things about USC, these players already know. They're not strangers to it. They already know that USC is great, but they needed a reason to trust going there because at the end of the day, these athletes, these D1 athletes, these elite level high 4 and 5 stars, they're uber competitive. So at the end of the day, people are like, well, if USC is so great, how come athletes haven't been going there for a while? Because you have to have a reason to go there. And it's not just the sunshine. It's not just the beaches. It's not just the beautiful, California weather. You have to go there and feel like you can compete. If you want to go somewhere nice and warm and enjoy the weather, go on a vacation. But if you can have your cake and eat it too, your cake being the beautiful weather, California, all the celebrities, the big time feel, and win. Oh my gosh, USC's it's a home run. I love this Lincoln Riley move, Kev. I think it's going to shift the entire dynamic of college football, and it's going to help the Pac-12. It's going to help all of college football. This is a good thing. Ohio State's job just became tougher. It's one more powerhouse now that Ohio State has to compete with out on the recruiting trail, because you could say it was the same thing about Oklahoma, but the numbers are going to double because it's LA. And that's kind of how I view it as far as that goes.
Absolutely. We got Ed on line too.
Ed on line two. And by the way, 518-1410 phone lines are up and rolling. Let's kick things off with Ed on line two. What's up, Ed? How are you, sir?
Man, I'm just the opposite of you guys. I'm done with college football. I mean, you look at these kids at Notre Dame. Why do they have incentive to even go to a bowl game now? What bowl game are you talking about they're going to? They don't even have a head coach. You guys are acting like, oh yeah, money flying all over the place.
Yeah,
but, Kev. I mean, Notre Dame right now. Do you think the committee is going to pick them to be in the Final Four?
That's a good point, Ed.
What if Fickel ends up going to Notre Dame? Are you going to root for Notre Dame now if you're Notre Dame because you got UC's coach? That's freaking nuts, man.
I mean, you brought up a good point.
This is crazy. This is what happens when you don't have any rules in college football. And college football wanted to pay players and do all that stuff. Well, now you're seeing what's going on with it. There's no rules. You can just go get a coach anywhere you want. You can pay players, and this is what you got.
You bring up a good point about Notre Dame because they're still in the mix to go to the college football playoff. And that is a question for the committee to answer. Like, okay, let's say the chaos happens in front of Notre Dame. Will they be willing to put them in the college football playoff, even though the head coach that helped them win all those games during the regular season to make them in the contention? Or do they send them there now?
What if Marcus Freeman, Kelly's trying to get him to go to LSU with all this money. If Marcus Freeman ends up going, somebody's got to have some morals in this whole thing because, everybody's chasing after the money, but you're forgetting about the kids. Notre Dame's kids are sitting there. They played all year, busted their butts, sweat, blood, all that crap. And now Kelly just takes off like he did at UC.
Why aren't you mad at Lincoln Riley? He's doing the same thing.
I mean, Lincoln Riley,
I think it's because you don't like Bryan Kelly. That's really what it comes down to, because it's not what he's doing, it's who's doing it. Because there's a total difference in your tone, not just you, but like your tone and even social media. The reaction to Bryan Kelly doing exactly what Lincoln Riley has done, and it's funny the difference in how both are being perceived. I think it's. By the way, I hate the timing, Ed. I'm with you. I love your passion and anger about it because this is where the NCAA not having a governing body over all of college football sticks.
There's no rules.
Yeah, there should be a blocked off period, like a tampering rule or something that, hey, no hiring can be done of new head coaches until this date. It doesn't mean that conversations aren't being had, but at least you avoid this disaster of a media spree. It's ruining team seasons who are still in playoff contention.
This all happens because they moved up the signing period. So they want their coach in place so you can get on the recruiting trail. If the recruiting situation was still in February, maybe this wouldn't be happening in this way. Maybe it wouldn't be such a devastating situation because he's right. Like, look at Notre Dame. They're right there. They're just sitting there waiting at a spot, waiting for some type of chaos to happen, and they'll be in the playoff. But now they don't have a head coach. And we're talking about the Bryan Kelly situation with Notre Dame. To be perfectly honest, I think that people have this side-eye look to him because they're sitting in the catbird seat. And also, he did it at Central Michigan. He did it at UC, and now he's doing it at Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is obviously a destination job. But not to kind of like defend Bryan Kelly, but to look at it from his point of view, we all know how difficult the academics are at Notre Dame and all that type of stuff. Maybe he just wants to go to a place where he feels like, look, man, they do it different at a lot of other schools, and I won't have those roadblocks that I have in Notre Dame.
Hey, you can maybe I to practice. I mean, my goodness.
Leave it to Kenner.
The only thing I want to say real quick is Notre Dame You saw what UC when he left UC and they played Florida. They got waxed. I mean, do you think these kids, the seniors or the juniors that are going pro, they're going to stick around?
If they're in the college football playoff, they will.
I mean, who's going to coach him? Marcus Freeman?
Maybe.
I just don't see this. And tonight's going to be interesting. Where are they going to put Notre Dame at 5?
Well,
so
listen,
I can't wait to watch this fiasco.
Yeah, but it's not a fiasco because Notre Dame's not a legitimate playoff contender for tonight's poll. Let's just be real. A week ago, everyone was laughing at the idea of Notre Dame still being considered for a playoff spot. And today, because everybody hates Coach Kelly, everyone's like, oh, but they're a playoff team. A playoff team. What are they going to do? A week ago, everyone mocked them for being considered a playoff team. And now everyone, because they don't like Coach Kelly, wants to feel bad about Notre Dame's playoff chances. And that's why I haven't reacted to that end of it, because I don't look at Notre Dame as a legitimate playoff contender right now anyways. And I mean, so much would have to fall in front of them for them to get in, but they're no more a playoff contender than Ohio State is, because a ton has to still happen for Ohio State to get in.
I think if Houston bites UC, I think Notre Dame is in.
But again, that's a lot of those conditions. Like, there's a lot of things that have to fall in front of them to do that. I mean, Georgia, Alabama are both in. And then, of course, you have Michigan. And now it's coming down to Cincinnati or Oregon. Oklahoma. I keep saying Oregon State. I think I said that earlier. My bad. Oklahoma State. I guess Notre Dame does have, but again, I still just don't look at them as that. Like, they're not going to be picked over anyone else. Like, they would have to be dropped in because literally everyone around them crumbled, and I just don't see that happening.
That's all that's been happening this season.
But Ohio State can still get in, and then Ohio State needs to be glued to the TV because they still have a chance to get in if enough teams crumble in front of them.
Absolutely.
So, but
if Georgia beats Alabama, I have no interest in watching Michigan, Oklahoma State. I don't think anybody's going to watch. Does anybody want to watch that game, Michigan, Oklahoma State?
I'll watch it, but it's not about
thank you. I cut him off. My bad.
No problem. I think some of the problem is with the college football playoff, we do allow our, hey man, I want to see the best teams in there, and sometimes the best teams just don't qualify for the college football playoff. Like you talked about with the USC team with Darnold, like they were hot at the end of the season, but it's a collective. It's the whole season. You can't just put a team in there because like, oh man, I think they could win right now. Well, what they did in September matters just as much as what happens in November. So, just because we don't like Michigan or the brand of football that they play or don't think it'll be highly entertaining, they qualified. If they qualify for it, they're in. And that's just the way it has to be.
Yeah, and then people get mad. Oh, that school's only going to make it because of the money and TV ratings. I don't believe that's ever the case. But then you get situations like the last caller is like, well, I'm not going to watch if it's Oklahoma State and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You can't say, oh, man, they need to be fair and let the 4 best teams in. And then when they do, complain because, well, no one's going to watch that. Well, if that's the case, then every year it just needs to be Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and Georgia, and call it a day.
Exactly. If Oklahoma State wins, they probably are going to get in, and they did everything they were supposed to do. They lost. The one game that they lost was on a controversial call and everything like that. So they beat their biggest rival in Bedlam. They already beat Baylor once this season, and they're going to try to do it again on Saturday. So, I mean, if they win, they're in. Like, we have to respect the fact that teams are going out there and winning the games. We can't just be like, oh, man, shoot, Bama, Bama lost 4 games, still put them in. Like, it don't work like that. You got to win the games.
Mike Nympher on Facebook says Lincoln Riley is being perceived as a wuss, bolting to another conference to avoid that week-to-week SEC beatdown in a couple of years. Guys, he took USC. It's USC in California. Oh my gosh, he is not a wuss for taking the USC job, especially for the money he's getting paid.
I would like to know the ages of some of these people that are chiming in. Maybe they don't know how good USC was
and can be. And like at the end of the day, like, to be honest with you, like, I get it. I think that, if you want to prove that you're this like macho coach, I'm going to go to the SEC and I'm going to be Alabama. You're not going to be Alabama. Okay. You're not going to be Alabama. So you're going to go there and you're going to always have that. You're always going to win a game you shouldn't, and you're going to lose a game you shouldn't. And unfortunately, the game that you lose that you shouldn't is going to keep you out, because then the very next loss you're going to get will be to Alabama or it will be to Georgia. So Lincoln Riley can sit there and say, well, Lane Kiffin and Coach Leach, and you look at all the coaches that are going there. Now you have Sarkisian going back to the SEC. It would have been Lincoln Riley back. Now you have Coach Kelly in the SEC. That's a lot of great coaches. But you know what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, Leach isn't a great coach because he's not winning football games anymore. Oh, Lane Kiffin, what an idiot. That guy's just he's going to lose 3 to 4 games. He's going to lose 2 to 3 games a year and be just labeled as just a coach. Well, that's a bad business decision because you know what happens when seasons like this happen, when there's all this money available? Lincoln Riley was smart. He's not a wuss. He's going to go there and he's going to win a lot of football games and he's going to get to the college football playoff. And then he's going to look at people like Mike and others who are calling him a wuss and say, you can call me a wuss all you want. I'm counting my money. I'm getting championships and I live in fucking California. So to hell with your wuss comment. He's not a wuss, Kev. I have no clue why people are going with that narrative. That's silly.
That's weak sauce to me. Calling somebody a wuss for making a business decision. I mean, look, hey, he broke the bank. He a legend at the bank now, big time. He's going to USC. So we can debate like, all right, man, what's a more storied program, Oklahoma or USC? That's up for a matter of opinion. But it's not like he left Oklahoma to go to FIU. You know what I mean? Like, so let's not get that twisted. He went to another storied program to go to another storied program, another one. So, and to build that program up. And also, you know, this is funny. I'm actually even bringing this up. You know, some of the comments Jim Harbaugh made about Coach Day on Saturday, you know, some people are born on third base and thinking they built it up. Well, you know what? If you look at it from Lincoln Riley's perspective, like he was dropped into a ready-made system that Stoops had put in 20 years making and building and getting them back on track, because in the 90s, Oklahoma wasn't Oklahoma. They were Oklahoma in the 70s and 80s, but in the 90s, not so much. He brought them back from the dead. So now he's going to be done with the responsibility of bringing USC back from the dead. And that's a hell of an accomplishment if he can pull it off.
518-1410. We're also live on Facebook. Lamar Shelley and I, we do not meet eye to eye on social media too often, but he made me laugh right here. Lamar, shout out to Lamar, by the way. He listens every day, even when I mean to him, so I appreciate that. I don't deserve that type of listener, but appreciate it. I know they're here for Kev. Kev is the ultimate equalizer on this show, I tell you that much. But Lamar Kev says, I know it's more than this, but I'm looking at palm trees in good weather versus cattle ranches in Tornado Alley. Sometimes the simplest answer is the right answer. And sometimes the easiest answer is the actual answer. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And it's an opportunity to go win in LA. And yes, and let's be honest here, 4 teams get in. That's it. And 4 teams for 5 Power 5 conferences. And sometimes it's not guaranteed that 4 conferences will be represented. There was a certain point where I thought that if Ohio State didn't lose to Oregon, by the way, if Ohio State never lost to Oregon and they lost to Michigan in that final game, you would have Michigan and Ohio State in the playoff, as well as Alabama and Georgia. That would be your top 4. That would be your college football playoff top 4. If Ohio State never lost to Oregon at the beginning of the season, your top 4 would have been Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, and Georgia. Not in any kind of particular order, but you see what I'm saying. So the point is going to a conference where you have a better shot of winning. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you a wuss. That makes you smart. So while everyone else in the SEC is trying to, be macho man and trying to prove that we're the 3rd best team in the SEC, he can go dominate and be the best team in California, be the best team in a conference, and not just get he could be the Urban Meyer of the Pac-12, Kevin. Here's why. Urban Meyer didn't just elevate how Ohio State recruited and performed. He elevated the entire Big Ten Conference. It changed how they hired coaches. It changed how they recruited. It changed how the networks perceive. You know what I mean? Like it was a complete domino effect when Urban got to the Big Ten and to Ohio State. That's Lincoln Riley going to the Pac-12 because he's going to elevate how they recruit. He's going to elevate how the rest of the teams in California recruit. He's going to put more eyes and ears on the California market over there as far as the Pac-12 is concerned. He's going to elevate everything. He is the Urban Meyer of the Pac-12 right now. He hasn't proven anything yet, but it's the same thing of when Urban went to Ohio State. Yeah, we know what you've done in the past, but can you do it here? We believed Urban could because it was Urban freaking Meyer, and guess what? USC fans believe that Lincoln Riley could do it because it's Lincoln freaking Riley, and there you go. I'm jacked. I can't wait. I love USC. I love the Pac-12. I want that to get back up to being relevant again. I hate that it's the Big Ten and the SEC every year. I hate that. It's boring. I'm over it now. I want to see more teams sprinkled in. You want to know what I want to see before they expand the playoff? I want a legitimate championship contender to be left out. Do you see what I mean by that? That means 4 legitimate kick-ass teams made it. I want Clemson at full power, Alabama at full power, Ohio State at full power, USC at full power, Georgia at full power. I want one of those 5 teams to, you know what I mean, have one loss or all of them be undefeated or within one loss heading into the championship week. And we're all sitting here saying, oh, and Notre Dame, by the way, let's say Notre Dame, whether it's Luke Fickel or whoever, now Notre Dame's a powerhouse. And now you got 6 teams for 4 spots. That's why I laugh when people want to expand the playoff. You can't even find 4 teams for 14 playoff, and you're sitting here complaining, saying we need to go to 12. I would love to see that before they expand, Kev. I want that true sympathy storyline of I feel bad for that team. That was a true championship contender that got left out of the playoff. We haven't had that yet, and I think it can happen with more teams and more conferences being involved.
I think it was 2004 when Auburn got left out. The BCS National Championship, they were undefeated. I believe it was USC. I can't remember who USC played. I think USC played Oklahoma in the National Championship game where they ended up blowing Oklahoma out. And I believe that was Adrian Peterson's freshman year. But like that, I think that was the thing that kind of sparked the college football playoff when you had an undefeated Auburn team being left out of the BCS. And, let's be real, man. This is what drives college football, people's opinions, because there aren't any opinions in the NFL because everything's settled on the field. Like you play the game, you win the game, you lose the game. Best records, you make the playoffs, you don't make it. Opinions drive college football. You and I drive college football with our opinions, and so do our listeners and everybody interacting on social media. So the fact that a guy like a Lincoln Riley can leave a storied program to go to another. The fact that Bryan Kelly can leave Notre Dame to go to LSU and leaves Notre Dame in a state of limbo. Who do they call? Do they call Luke Fickel? Do they just call Marcus Freeman? Do they call Matt Campbell? Do they call up Urban Meyer? Do they call some guy we're not even thinking about? Like, it creates all this rhetoric and all this talk because in the NFL, the hiring season isn't like this in the NFL. It's just not. Hiring season in the NFL is, all right, who's the hot OC? All right, who's the hot DC? All right, he's the next head coach of Team X. Play ball. But in college football, you got big schools who go big name hunting and go get a Lincoln Riley or go get a Bryan Kelly from another program who throws a lot of money at them and then leaves the other program in a state of limbo right in the middle of recruiting season, right when you're about to lock up your signing class. Yep. I mean, people are angry at the Bryan Kelly situation for multiple reasons. One of those reasons is reports are coming out from some of his assistant coaches saying they were literally on someone's couch talking to a recruit, talking about game planning and things like that. And the recruit told him that Bryan Kelly left and he had nothing to say.
So what do you think about gumbo?
Are you allergic to shrimp?
I mean, by the way, Urban Meyer asked about the Notre Dame job, and he said that he doesn't believe he's going to take the Notre Dame job. So. Joking.
Nice and direct.
There have been reports that Urban has said he has no interest in going back to college, but I still laughed at all the people out there that defended Urban when he retired from Ohio State, when he said, I believe I'm done coaching. I'm like, guys, he's coaching again. Like, you can't be that silly to fall for that. But they did. But I want to talk Notre Dame. I want to talk about Bryan Kelly. I almost say Chip Kelly every time, but I want to talk about Bryan Kelly leaving because Bryan Kelly, there is some hatred being spewed that man's way. And as I said before, you either hate the fact that coaches leave in general. You either hate the fact that coaches leave right now and still with, I'm not saying the middle of the season, but with the season still active. If you hate that in general, I can support you in that. I agree. I think that the timing cannot be worse for a school to even offer a job to somebody. I think LSU, I think they're crooks. I think that they are just as evil as the coaches that you guys are speaking of. LSU, the kids. You think LSU cared about Notre Dame's kids? No, all they care about is theirs. And technically, they don't care about theirs. They care about their pocketbooks. They care about their team's success. Like, let's stop doing this pity party of, the kids. The kids don't matter. The kids have never mattered. The kids do not matter. And you know what? Technically, the coaches don't matter either. The players don't care about the coaches. When the players want a starting spot, when the players want playing time, when the players want a name, image, and likeness deal, they go chase it and they go do it. Then you got some people who defend it, and that's totally fine. Like, that's the day and age of college athletics. But what you can't do is preach for the importance of players to leave and go play wherever they want and then get mad when coaches leave. Here's the thing. You don't hate that a coach took a job and with the season still left. You hate who did it. You hate Bryan Kelly, because the same people that were drooling over Lincoln Riley in the chat section and on social media are the same people that all of a sudden has a moral compass for how Bryan Kelly did it at Notre Dame. You just hate Bryan Kelly. Why don't you just admit that? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't like him. That's fine. But I want to talk about that on the other side. 518-1410. I believe we have one phone line open. We're going to get right to your calls on the other side. But I found this really interesting. Not one destination school lost a coach this over the last 48 hours. Two of them did. And I don't know if LSU is a better program than Notre Dame. You know, you could say that brand-wise, USC is bigger than Oklahoma, but from a production standpoint, it's hard for me to accept that USC is better than that. Two coaches at destination jobs left. So for those of you out there that think that Ryan Day is untouchable, I'm sorry, that's not the case. We just saw it the last 48 hours. No coach. There's no such thing. Nick Saban's the only coach that I think is completely locked into what he's doing because, well, he's Nick freaking Saban, and there's only one. All right, we'll be back in a moment. 518-1410. Kev Nash, Justin Kinner on 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Did you know Prilosec OTC can stop frequent heartburn before it begins? Yep, I said before. Block heartburn at the source by taking the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. With just one pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn relief. That's all day. Start the 2-week challenge today at prilosecotc.com and live heartburn-free. Just one pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Big news from Simply Safe Home Security. Okay. Actually, I think the horns are too much. That's better. Big news. The new wireless outdoor security camera is here. Yes, Simply Safe's award-winning home security just got even better, taking whole home protection to a whole new level. Okay, I'm missing the horns. Simply Safe is celebrating this new camera with 50% off a new system this week. Visit simplysafe.com.
O'Reilly. Is your vehicle ready for holiday travel? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you save on your next oil change. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil for $32.95. Plus, earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly.
Get ready for winter weather and save money at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stay safe by replacing your old wiper blades with a new pair of Bosch Icon wiper blades and save $8 now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. We'll even install them for you for free. The holiday gift guide is here with something for everyone on your list. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
With the new law, more people qualify for financial assistance at healthcare.gov. Real customers like Taylor.
You know, I wish people knew how easy it was to get health coverage. This new law has made it so affordable. I'm only paying $52 a month, but there are quality plans for even less.
New law, lower prices, more people qualify. Enroll by December 15th at healthcare.gov.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Suffering from junk sleep? The sleep experts at Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Cyber Week sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
Would you like to save hundreds of dollars on your real estate taxes? Celebrate the holidays with the gift of a lower tax bill. This is Montgomery County Auditor Carl Keith, and if you're a homeowner age 65 or older, or you are permanently and totally disabled, you could be eligible for the Homestead Exemption. To find out if you qualify, call my Homestead hotline at 937-225-4341. The deadline to apply for this tax break is December 31st, but if you are already enrolled, you do not need to reapply. New applicants are subject to an income test. Visit our website for more information at mcauditor.org or call 937-225-4341. That hotline number again is 937-225-4341. And remember, the deadline to apply is December 31st. This is Auditor Carl Keith wishing you and your homestead the best this holiday season.
It's here, the Menards Black Friday sale. Hurry in for best selection. Prices good through December 5th. Power all of your devices with a 30-pack of double or AAA AC Delco batteries. They're just $398 after rebate. Bath sets are the perfect gift to give this holiday season. Choose from Dove Men's or Axe bath sets. They're just $797 each. Check out these and more amazing Black Friday deals at Menards. Available in store only while supplies last.
Save big money at Menards.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Shop on eBay this holiday season to get more for your dough on stand mixers, or get more for your buck on this season's hottest tech and gaming gear. And on eBay, you can even get more Cyber Monday rewind the clock deals. Cyber Monday prices are back for one day only. Get more and save more on premium brands with eBay's can't miss Monday deals. Get more when you get it on eBay.
Hi, my name is Ted, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Shake is when the peppermint shake is available, that's to me sort of announces that the holiday season is here. I guess most people count down the days until Christmas, but me, I count down the days until the shake comes out.
Hi, I'm Michaela, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Milkshake is that first sip when you taste the peppermint chip pieces, it's like catching snowflakes on your tongue.
Share a peppermint chip milkshake from Chick-fil-A this holiday. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Suffering from junk sleep? The sleep experts at Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Cyber Week sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Fake outrage. I've had a blast today. Excuse me. Had a blast today on social media, just kind of following all the fake outrage. Oh my gosh, Bryan Kelly. There's the devil, and then there's Bryan Kelly. I think they have tea every Wednesday. I think they hang out once a week. I think probably more. I have no, I mean, those, Bryan Kelly is a horrible person, apparently. And look, we all have those, we have those guys or gals in sports that, you know, they've done something to our team or hurt our team or, you know, done something we don't agree with that we just despise. And no matter what they do, they could save, I mean, they could donate $1 million to some charity and we're going to be like, he's just doing it for attention. Like, that's just how we are. We're wired that way. When you don't like somebody, they could do something that you really don't have a problem with. And it's because who's doing it, all of a sudden you have a problem with it. And Lincoln Riley is a prime example. I talked about this with Kev earlier. I'm not saying that everybody is in love with Lincoln Riley's decision to take the USC job. I think, but people look at Lincoln Riley taking the USC job and they just say, oh, wow, that's surprising. He left Oklahoma for USC. Wow, interesting. That's really where it stops. I haven't heard, because, by the way, Oklahoma's season is not done. All right. And it's not I know they're not going to make the college football playoff, but they still have a bowl game to prep for. They still, all of these things that you guys get mad at the student athletes for when they say, I'm going to skip the bowl game to focus on the draft, you guys hate, you get mad at. Where are those people when it comes to Lincoln Riley? I haven't heard a peep from any of you. Everyone's been like, man, I'm surprised he did this. I'm surprised he left Oklahoma. The only kind of heat that Lincoln Riley got was some of you have decided to say he's a wuss for basically being afraid of that's the only heat that Lincoln Riley got, is you guys saying he's afraid to compete, and that's why he's going to USC, by the way. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. The very exact same thing happened at Notre Dame. Bryan Kelly, and by the way, it did happen very quickly. Multiple reports with Lincoln Riley. Like, Lincoln Riley had no idea. I mean, like, you always have an ear open for jobs, right? Like, you're always keeping an eye. But it's not like he knew 48 hours ago he was going to be the next head coach at USC. He goes, honestly, it really came down to just how blown away he was and how quickly things moved. You have a split second to accept these offers.
Yeah.
So in the defense of Lincoln Riley, in the defense of Bryan Kelly, people are so angry and outraged about them taking jobs while the season's still going on, but yet you guys don't really put forth any suggestions of how to fix the problem, because the problem's not Lincoln Riley and the problem is not Bryan Kelly. The problem is the setup. We talked about this a little bit ago. The NFL, there's certain times you can't hire anyone technically until a certain point. That's why there's been talks of really kind of cutting off all communication and interviews. Like, come playoff time, once the week 17 wraps up, you're going to have a lot of teams who are looking to reach out to coordinators on playoff teams. And then those teams have to grant permission for their coordinator to go meet with that team. And, that's the next head coach. Zach Taylor was, on the, with the Rams staff or whatever before with Sean McVay. He was the next head coach of the Bengals, and his team was still in the postseason whenever they were talking about that. The same thing that's going on with what's the Chiefs offensive coordinator that everyone talks about every year? Why am I drawing a blank?
Eric Bieniemy.
I'm sorry. So, like, every year it's a thing that, Bieniemy, the reason he doesn't have a head coaching job now too is because all the jobs are being sucked up right off the bat because, you're not giving a full interview because you're too busy focusing on your team's next playoff game. There are flaws in the hiring process for the NFL as well. But you guys hate Bryan Kelly. You hate Bryan Kelly because, he spurned your Bearcats team years and years and years, which, by the way, I felt like there's a couple years ago, I keep forgetting he's been at Notre Dame for 12 years. Yeah. I'm like, holy smokes. I feel like his Notre Dame run wasn't that long. He has more wins than any other Notre Dame coach in program history. I mean, has multiple playoff appearances. In fact, there's only one coach that has had more wins since he became a D1 coach in 2004, and that's Nick Saban. Only one other coach has more wins at the D1 level than Bryan Kelly does, and that's Nick Saban from 2004 to now. The dude can coach. The dude can win.
Think about it like this. He has a BCS national championship appearance and 2 college football playoff appearances. I mean, he's doing something right.
He's doing something right, and he's doing that at Notre Dame where there are more restrictions there than anywhere else as far as the major contenders on a year-in, year-out basis. Just to be clear, and to make sure I set this up correctly, I'm not a big Bryan Kelly fan. I don't really get, if Ohio State had a job opening and it was announced that they hired him, I'd be like, okay, that's, it's not bad. Okay, cool. Bryan Kelly. But Bryan Kelly has done nothing wrong. I know you guys view it that he has done something wrong because of the timing, but let me ask you, what is he supposed to do? If he wants that LSU job, you sat there and said Lincoln Riley's a wuss because he's leaving the SEC, and you have a coach of a team with Notre Dame that's an independent that can make the playoffs and make their own schedule, literally the entire schedule. They can make it out. He made his job harder. He's now a small fish in a big pond to where he was a shark in just a little river at Notre Dame, right? Like, because you're an independent. So what? You're going to rip Lincoln Riley for being a wuss and leaving the SEC, and then the coach that leaves Notre Dame, the independent school, to join the SEC is a devil. I don't understand you people. You don't really care about the student athletes at Notre Dame. You guys didn't wake up this morning and my heart goes out this holiday season to the Fighting Irish players who I hope they can get by with the loss of their coach, who did not pass away. He just took another job. It's as simple as that. Stop acting like you give a rip about Notre Dame's players. Stop acting like you give a rip about Notre Dame, the program, because unless you're a Notre Dame fan, we all hate Notre Dame. I don't know anybody that doesn't have an opinion on Notre Dame. You are either a Notre Dame fan or you hate them. There is no in between. So that's why I'm laughing so much. A week ago, people were mocking the program. They were mocking everybody that said that Notre Dame still has a playoff opportunity. And you mocked them. You said, that program, are you kidding me? They don't even have a conference. They don't even play in the conference championship game. Their schedule, they don't play anybody. And the one somebody they did play, they lost to. Are you kidding me? You guys were dogging the hell out of them. And then today, poor Notre Dame. Oh, those poor student athletes. If they need a shoulder to cry on, give them my number. They can call me. Stop. Can we arrange a meal train so we could drop them off food to help them get through this horrible time? Stop. Nothing is wrong with what happened at Notre Dame. It's unfortunate, yes. But let me ask you, you're mad at the wrong people. What is Notre Dame supposed to do? Or not Notre Dame, I'm sorry. What is Bryan Kelly supposed to do? You have a split second to decide if you want that job or not. And if he really wants that job, he can't sit there and say, you know what? If you guys hold that job for me, let me finish business here. Because, by the way, that's what people are thinking that should happen. Kev, do you think if that opportunity really existed in the world of college football behind the scenes, hiring coaches, don't you think we would have seen that by now? Don't you think that if that was a realistic possibility of a coach saying, I do want the job, but let me break it to my team. Let me finish out this season, and I'm yours. No, right. Clearly, and by the way, and don't say it can't be done. Coaches have all the power. That's how you end up with a personal jet. That's how you end up with $12.5 million per season. That's how you end up with all the perks. Don't tell me that the coaches don't have leverage and that if he really wanted that he couldn't get it. I'm just saying, like, don't act like the coaches, if they want, they can't have it. That's the one thing they can't have. Like, I don't get it.
A head coach, you can't do that. An assistant coach, you're allowed to do that. We saw that happen with Tom Herman when he took the Houston head coaching job. They, quote unquote, allow him to finish out the season with Ohio State. We end up winning the national championship and everything like that. But as a head coach and as the university, in their mind, like, they're rolling out the red carpet. They're breaking the bank. They're not only just paying you and your assistants, but they're also paying the former coach, because they get paid in college not to coach. They're paying out their contracts. So they need an answer, like, immediately, right there on the spot. And I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, man, this is cut and dry and super easy for Bryan Kelly to get offered this job right there. And his agent is like, yo, they need an answer in 20 minutes. And he's on his iPhone writing up notes and to send a message to the players and everything like that. In a perfect world, of course, we would want a situation where he's able to call a team meeting and tell everybody what it is. For me, I can't speak for anybody else. For me, the reason this feels nasty or foul is because they're still in contention to play for the national championship. For me, like, I have a problem with it that way. If the Lincoln Riley situation, and for lack of a better word, their season is over and everything like that. All right, I guess I'm not a big fan of that either, but that's the way the system is set up. But for me, for the Notre Dame situation, they just really need one domino to fall their way, and they're right back in it, and they're right there playing for the national championship. For me, I get a bad feeling about that, and I know we're going to get to Luke Fickel as well, and I'd have thoughts about that one too. So that's the reason why I just like, man, like, come on, man. Like, we're right there playing for opportunity. And then all the rumors, and yes, there are rumors about, assistant coaches at recruits' houses and everything like that. And the recruits telling the assistant coaches at Notre Dame that Bryan Kelly's no longer the coach there and everything like that. And assistant coaches trying to reach out to him as they're leaving recruits' house, trying to get an answer and like, hey, man, is this real? What do you want me to tell this recruit? Yada, 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 and not be able to get a straight answer and everything until 7 a.m. today. So, like, those things, there's no perfect way to do this. Even the way the NFL does it, it isn't perfect, because the best jobs get filled up by guys that aren't in the playoffs. You talked about it with Eric Bieniemy. People want Eric Bieniemy to be their head coach so bad. Can't get him because he's always in the Super Bowl. Like, we can't get an interview with this guy. Like, we want to sit down. We want to talk. A little busy game planning here because we're playing for the Super Bowl, something you guys want. It's a catch-22. So I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, man, Bryan Kelly is the devil and he's the evilest man in the world. But there's something to be said about, the way that other coaches have left programs and the way he's left 3 programs. Mike Norvell, when he left Memphis, he was able to have a team meeting before the news broke that he was going to Florida State. Maybe because it's a a G5 job to a Power 5 job. And, it's not Notre Dame, it's Memphis, it's not Notre Dame. So there's not that many eyeballs on the situation. But ideally, that's what you want. Ideally, you will want to at least talk to your team captains or something face to face, or even on FaceTime or a Zoom call, as opposed to a text message to the team. And I think for me, that's a little iffy. But the biggest part is, man, coach, we're right there. I was actually, before this news broke, before I came on the show yesterday, as I was driving home, I was like, man, who would you rather be right now? Would you rather be Notre Dame, or would you rather be UC? Would you rather be Notre Dame, already sitting, waiting for the chaos to happen around you? And the way this season has been playing out, chaos has been happening. Or would you rather be UC with all the pressure on you to win the game?
Notre Dame with a game left.
Yeah. You got a game left, and then you got wacky things happening behind you with Oklahoma, where as a Notre Dame, all you really need is somebody to lose, and they're going to put you in. Who would you rather be? But now that conversation's out the window, because we're talking about the head coach bouncing.
Yeah, and I will say that, and again, the big question I keep throwing out to everybody is, you guys are mad at the timing of which he is leaving, but what is your, and I say this on the show all the time, I'm tired of hearing about the problems. What's your solution? Because none of your solutions make a whole hell of a lot of sense. My solution is, okay, Kev, why, and this isn't a Bryan Kelly thing. I don't know why this isn't a thing anywhere. Let's say, I'm trying to think. By the way, the timing for football is so bad. March Madness, the NCAA coaches take jobs elsewhere after their season's done. This is why this is being perceived so poorly. But the reason I'm calling you all hypocrites is because I'm pointing out that you really don't care about what he's doing. You care more about who's doing it. You're not losing sleep over Lincoln Riley. You're not wasting mine and everyone else's time with these fake outrageous tweets on Twitter or Facebook about Lincoln Riley. You're more calling him a wuss than anything. But you have Kelly, who's doing the exact same thing as Lincoln Riley, and you have a problem with it. And I just don't understand. Actually, I do understand it. You just don't like him. So the solution that I'm throwing out there is, if you are a coach like Bryan Kelly and LSU offers you that job, say yes, but I have a responsibility to this team right now, and I want to finish out what we started. LSU was probably saying no.
Right.
Early signing period's coming up. We're going to give you the money you're asking for. We're going to give you above what you're asking for, but we need you here.
Right.
And if you are Notre Dame, let's be clear as well, they are pissed at the timing of this. They don't want Chip, or I keep saying Chip, Chip. They keep Bryan Kelly. They don't want Bryan Kelly accepting the LSU job and then
coaching
finishing their team, because what ends up happening there is, hey, it's Coach Kelly. Appreciate you committing to me here at Notre Dame, but let me tell you about LSU, and let me tell you about this, that. Now, you're saying that's going to happen anyways. Yes, it is. But what you don't want, because this is where the egos and stuff get involved on campus.
You don't want him using your phones to do it. You don't want him using your resources.
Campus visits, you don't want to use any of that stuff. And there could be campus visits already set up for the coming days. I don't know the non-contact period. I don't think we're in that right now, right? No. You can recruit anytime right now.
Yeah.
So
you want your new head coach talking to the recruits, trying to save your recruiting class.
And so then you could say, and then here's why the coaches can't win, Kev, because national signing or early signing period is the 18th or something like that. Either way, let's just say it's the 18th. I don't know. Let's just throw out the date that it's the 18th. Okay, cool. So Bryan Kelly sticks with Notre Dame. They missed the playoff.
Sorry. So as I'm Googling early signing period, give me the top three.
Lincoln Riley.
No.
Bryan
Give
Kelly.
me the top three. I've only typed in early SI. Give me the top three Google instant results.
I kind of like this. I got nothing. The early signing period, I'm sure.
No. Early signs of COVID, early signs of diabetes, and early signs of pregnancy. Before I could even finish.
Damn,
typing.
America. You're either out at super spreaders or out super. Never mind. Ooh. That could have got me in trouble, but I liked where I was going with that. That would have been a funny joke if I could have got my full timing in and got the, but interesting. So, okay, let's say the Kev, grow up. Seriously.
I can't help it.
Seriously. So you have I'm going to get this right eventually. Early signing day on December 15th. Okay, cool. December 15th is early signing period. Bryan Kelly says, you know what? I'm going to tough it out. I'm going to wait till selection Sunday, find out what bowl game we're in, and I'm going to tough out my commitments to this team through the bowl game. Okay, that ends up being a New Year's Day game. Super. because you play Cincinnati because they're not going to make the playoff either. You're playing a rematch of Cincinnati on New Year's Day, Notre Dame, Cincinnati. Bryan Kelly then accepts the job on January 2nd. Well, now guess what? Well, now he left Notre Dame in a tough spot because all those early signing day guys signed on the 15th, and now they all want out, and they feel like they were, tricked into signing with Notre Dame because coaches could do that. Like, hey, I don't really want to leave the cupboard dry for you guys, so I'm not going to tell these guys I'm taking another job. I'm going to tough it out with you, get to early signing period, and then I'm going to bounce on them. That's horrible too. And then if you wait till January to do it, then you run into what Mel Tucker and Michigan State ran into. Remember when D'Antoni, it was in January. It was like well after the signing period when D'Antoni was relieved of his duties there when he resigned. And he left Michigan State. Mel Tucker took over. Everyone talked about how horrible it was for Mel Tucker taking over because it was well past the signing period. And now you're basically starting below scratch. Not starting from scratch. You're starting from below scratch.
Right, because exactly all the player, his entire recruiting class, the Colorado had signed and enrolled. Well, partial of them enrolled, but they already had signed to Colorado. So in the rare case that a coach leaves a school, nobody from his recruiting class came with him. So that's why they had so many spots available in the transfer portal, and that's why they had such a good season.
And by the way, Mel Tucker was viewed as a jerk by Colorado folks. Mel Tucker was destroyed when he did that to Colorado. Well, why? He toughed out the season with them. He waited till He waited till the off season to make a move. What did he do? Let's just be honest. You hate anyone that's doing anything. You hate when athletes make decisions for themselves. You hate when coaches make decisions for themselves. You hold coaches to a standard you don't even hold yourself to. I watch how you guys talk on social media. You don't have a moral bone in your body. All right. So don't sit here and try and do all this preachy stuff for what these coaches should be doing, because you know what? It's all evil. College athletics is cutthroat. There are so many stories of players who have screwed over coaches and teams, and there's plenty more of coaches screwing over players. And the reason that you hear more coaching stories than players is when one player bails on a coach, it's one player bailing on a coach, and you bring another player in, and half the time you don't even realize what's going on. Jackson Carman's one that sticks out to me of, well, he bailed on Ohio State, went to Clemson because he believed that all the stuff behind the scenes, what was going on with Urban Meyer, when Dabo was throwing some of that with him with Jackson Carman and everything. Oh, Jackson Carman was vilified for that, but you know what? We forgot about it until he was a team took a very high chance on him in the draft and gambled and took him higher than he should have been. But that's besides the point. The point is when a coach screws over a team, Kev, one coach bails on a team, you've bailed on 60 plus, 100 plus athletes, right? That's why it seems to be a bigger deal than when a player bails, you bail on your coach, and that's about it. Then we're talking about the next one. With the coach, you're hurting every single person in that locker room. I get it, but I just don't understand why people are holding Bryan Kelly to a standard that they're not holding Lincoln Riley or any other coach to. So my question is you don't like the timing of it. When's a good time? There's never a good time. Let's say you decide in April. Well, that's horrible. That's a spring game. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so now instead of preparing for a spring game, now we got to start a coaching search, and now we got to deal with all the players entering the transfer portal, and now we got to find a coach quickly to salvage what's left of this offseason before we go into the dead period. So it's like there is no right timing, folks. Stop ripping Bryan Kelly. Just do everyone a favor and say, I hate Bryan Kelly, and stop. That's all you got to say. I hate Bryan Kelly, and then stop, because that's really all this comes down to. You're not mad at what he did. You're mad at who did it, and that's just basically where we're at. 518-1410. 518-1410. You know what? No, I've been rude to the callers on hold. I need to make sure we get to them. Let's get to the phones now. Real quick, station identification.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Kinder was in a good mood until this jackwagon over here decided to run his mouth. So
jackwagon. Never heard that one before.
I can't say the other thing, but he's getting close. Adam Collett says, talking about hating when all you do is hate on anything Cincinnati, and talk to your listeners like they're stupid, terrible people. Not all the listeners are stupid, terrible people. You're one of them, though. So we'll move on to the next thing. Don't sit there and say, all you do is hate on Cincinnati. First of all, I'm a Browns fan, and I don't like Bengals fans. I get into it with Bengals fans. I don't care. This is Dayton. I could see if I was in Cincinnati how that would be a problem. This is Dayton. Get over yourself. Turn the channel. Go listen to something else. We all have all these options.
No. Please don't.
No. Seriously, we have all these options in life. We have all these options in life. All right. But Bryan Kelly just proved that. Options. You're only as loyal as your options. All right. So thank you for being loyal. Apparently you don't have any other options, and you don't. So there's that. 518-1410. Kev, tell me where to go first.
Yeah, let's go to this guy. Let's go to line 4, our buddy Shaw.
Oh, you're going to kick it off with Shaw.
Yeah.
All right, Shaw, you still there?
Yep, still here.
All right, I didn't know if you were Adam Collett. I didn't know if that was your burner account or not. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, no, I don't need a burner account today. We won Saturday.
What? And that's where I knew you were going to go.
Take long,
you don't get any love from me. The real Michigan fans get some respect from me. You weren't even going to watch the game. You weren't even going to watch the game. You weren't going to watch the game, no. We had to convince you to watch the game. 2 Ohio State fans had to convince you to watch the game. And now you're going to call up the show with your chest out, with your bird chest out, flexing? Come on, that's not cool.
It's half out because all week I was saying Ohio State was going to win, and then I gave you the tidbit of me not watching the game. No, I raised my hand. I was wrong, but my family was what convinced me to do it. They were going to go do something I didn't want to do, and me and my brother-in-law looked at each other, and he was like, "Well, why don't we just go watch the game?" I didn't watch it live. I started at 12:45, but I saw it from that point on. Yeah.
And speaking of giving people their props, can I get props for what I said was going to happen about the defensive line?
You didn't let me get started.
Yeah, because I'm still pissed off about what happened on Saturday.
Ooh, he said pissed.
Ain't no laughing from you.
Oh, by the way, usually Shaw calls in, "Hey guys."
Yeah, he got a whole different vibe, right?
Like, this is my happy face. Like that's usually
he
Shaw.
got a whole new vibe.
This mofo can laugh all of a sudden.
Oh man,
What a weirdo.
Oh, my goodness. No, I mean, I was going to give...
almost killed myself. Go ahead.
I was going to give crap to Justin for, there's no way possible. It's not going to happen. It's not it wasn't a rivalry until Saturday. But
hold on. One win doesn't make it. I mean, let's you got to do it again.
I agree with
Tell him, Kenner.
I've been telling my guys in Ann Arbor, hey, until we win in Columbus, it doesn't mean anything. That hasn't happened since 1999, by the way. But no, I was going to give crap to Justin and Kev. I was going to give you some props for saying, hey, slow your roll. It's possible. And everything you said came true. We got pressure on the quarterback from our 2 boys that couldn't, for some odd reason, you guys didn't chip with a tight end or decide to block with anybody with a pulse. And you decided to play straight up 4 down linemen and not stunt, not twist, not curl, not do anything. Just let us block you all the way down the field for 200 yards rushing before contact. Don't even decide to come on the field in the second half to even try to stop us to get a 3rd down. I mean, like, what the? All
right, that's enough. That's enough. Are y'all gonna Are you gonna finish it? Are you gonna finish the deal versus the Hawkeyes on Saturday? Are you gonna finish the deal? Are you gonna bring it home? Are you gonna make the CFP? Are you gonna finish the deal? Yes or no?
You know what? I'm gonna be a damn Wolverine fan for once and not think with my head. Yes, we're finishing it off.
Go Hawkeyes.
We're going. And
Kev told me to drop you.
Get rid of this guy.
When Kev says to drop you, I
get rid of this guy. Shaw, I love you, but not today. I'm still in the mood.
The nerve of him to all of a sudden, after a year and a half of calling and harassing the show, all of a sudden he has a laugh. He has a personality.
Amazing how that works.
My goodness. And to think it's going to be another 10 years before we hear that laugh again. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. See all this stuff going on. Completely forgot. Like, actually, I kind of praise Lincoln Riley and Bryan Kelly for putting us in position to forget about that tough loss on Saturday.
Appreciate you guys.
Oh, my goodness. The big question I have, too, and we'll kill the Buckeye music real quick, but I really am curious, like, do you actually think, so Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma fans didn't think in a million years Lincoln Riley would have taken another job. And I'm really surprised that, I am surprised that he took the USC job, but at the same time, Oklahoma fans, what?
Oh, no, sickeningly good call. We got a good caller on hold.
Oh, as opposed to the rest of them? Wow, Kev. You just hear that, Adam? You hear that, Adam, call it? You hear the way he talks about you callers and you listeners? We got a good one. There's the rest of the bums on hold. Anyways, I forgot where. Oh, are we actually egotistical enough? And the answer is yes. But Buckeye fans, are we egotistical enough to think that Ryan Day was called by USC? Do you think that Ryan Day was contacted by LSU? Like, do you think any other program out there contacted Ohio State and not Ohio State, but Ryan Day, Kev? Like, I'm really interested in that because Oklahoma fans were said, no, he's not going anywhere. Well, Lincoln Riley's not going anywhere.
Right.
We're doing the same thing with Ryan Day. But after what I've seen the last 48 hours, Ryan Day's, he can leave tomorrow. 70 plus hours ago, Oklahoma fans were not thinking, they were pissed off about their rivalry loss over the weekend.
Right.
They didn't think in a million years that rivalry loss was going to be the last game that they saw of Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma. And it was. And so we can't sit here and act like, oh man, Ryan Day next year, what's he going to do? Ryan Day could be gone tomorrow, by the way. He could be the next head coach of the Bears.
Right.
He could be Notre Dame's next head coach. I mean, let's not act like Notre Dame's a destination school. For me, I don't get all the warm fuzzies inside for Notre Dame. That's just me. But I do know Notre Dame is a powerhouse in the world of college football. I know that. I would like to think that Ohio State's a bigger powerhouse in football than Notre Dame. And on the field, it definitely is, especially over the how long has it been since Notre Dame's done anything relevant on the damn field outside of just win a bunch of games and lose the ones that count the most? But Ohio State, egotistically, I'm like, oh, no, that's the job. But we can't sit here and act like we're safe from losing a coach. Ryan Day could easily be plucked. And I don't think it's that crazy, especially with the money that's being thrown around. And Ohio State can match it. I don't see Ryan Day leaving Ohio State for another college job. But then again, no one thought the same thing about Lincoln Riley. So I can't be fooled like Oklahoma fans. We can't sit here and say without a shadow of a doubt that Ryan Day is going absolutely nowhere, because 70 hours ago, Oklahoma fans were saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I think probably was it 90? No, couldn't it be 93? I guess it was 88 with Tony Rice, where Notre Dame won their last national championship. I think that's right. But no, yeah, you're right. Nobody's off limits. And I learned this not even a long time, probably like 5 years ago when Jimbo Fisher left Florida State. When you have a national championship winning coach that decides to leave for another program, a lesser program, a team that hasn't won anything in Texas A&M since the Civil War, anything's possible. Anything's possible. And I learned that day. I was like, man, how could you leave Florida State where you won a national championship? They've given you everything you wanted financially, but you go to another school, and that school is Texas A&M. So everything's on the table. So when Lincoln Riley went to USC, was I shocked? I was like, whoa, that's a power move. But everything's on the table. Everything is on the table. When Bryan Kelly decided to go to LSU, was I blown away? Yeah, because it's a powerhouse program. But to think that a coach can't leave, a coach is going to stay forever, this ain't the Joe Paterno days. This ain't the Bobby Bowden days. Those days are long gone. These dudes are going to bounce around a little bit. And they're going to go sometimes to the highest bidder. Sometimes they're going to go to the best situation for their families. Sometimes they're going to go to the pros and everything like that. And for us to think that guys are just going to stick around forever, that's foolish. Because, I mean, think about it. Steve Spurrier went to Florida, won a Heisman Trophy at Florida, came back, won national championships at Florida, and coached at South Carolina. Like, we just get everything's out there. We just choose to turn a blind eye to it and say, well, not at my school. Well, not at my school. Look, man, I know we're going to get into the Luke Fickel thing. Buckle up. Because if Notre Dame wants him, he's there to be taken.
Yeah, the Cincinnati stuff is reminding me, and we will get into that. I'm going to get back to the calls, but the Cincinnati stuff is reminding me, like, it's eerie how similar it takes me back to the Archie Miller days here in town. When I just couldn't believe how many fans actually thought out there that, like, in Dayton, they're not a bad program. Yes, you can win here. Archie proved that you can take a Dayton Flyers team to the Elite Eight. He proved that you could have a shot to get to the Final Four. And then Anthony Grant has proven that you can build a roster to be the number 3 team in the country. We've seen it proven by 2 different coaches what you could do with the Dayton Flyers. With that being said, it still was not. I mean, I remember Neil Sullivan, the athletic director for the Dayton Flyers, coming out and saying that they had put a package together to make Archie Miller one of the top 10 compensated coaches in college basketball at the time. So it's not money. All right. It's not money. Archie didn't chase money when he left or anything like that. It really came down to, all right, we made it to the Elite Eight. it was a Cinderella run. Like we're not going to be able to get to the Elite Eight every year, but he wants to get to a team that can be an Elite Eight team every year, a Final Four contender, national championship. That's why he went to Indiana. And everyone just was flabbergasted at the idea of Archie Miller leaving Dayton. I'm like, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I couldn't believe how much pushback I got. I say a lot of crazy things. It gets a lot of pushback. I thought that was just a common sense thing that we were all on the same page. Now, Flyer fans that all believe that, Kev, they're in hiding. They would never tell you that they thought Archie was never going anywhere. Now they're like, I'm glad he's gone. He's a bum. He can't coach, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. You guys know nothing. But the bottom line is that like Cincinnati fans are doing the same thing. Oh, he's building something here. He's proving it this year. And look how freaking hard it is. Look how hard. You might as well go take over. No, Notre Dame was not going to be an easy job either. And to be clear, last thing on this before I get back to the calls, I'd stay at Cincinnati before I take that Notre Dame job if I'm Luke Fickel.
Me too. I would too.
I would not take that Notre Dame job over Cincinnati. I don't care. I know that sounds crazy. I'm surprised you agreed with me on that. But
no, I would stay at UC over Notre Dame simply because there's a lot of, the academics and a lot of procedural things that you have difficulty with at Notre Dame, where other schools, hey man, this dude is academically borderline. We'll get him into school. Don't worry about it. But not that Notre Dame. Not at Notre Dame. They're stickler for the rules of the rules, that type of rhetoric. But now if Oklahoma calls.
I said that. Oklahoma's the job I think Fickel should take. Now you're in the SEC.
Ah, yeah, that is true.
But he won't take it because he's a wuss and he doesn't want to compete. Isn't that the rule?
Oh, gosh.
518-1410. Kev, who we have up next?
We got Chicago Irish on line 4.
Chicago Irish on line 4? Chicago Irish? Who the hell's Chicago Irish? Is your first name Chicago, last name Irish?
No, it's Bryan.
Bryan sounds more like a human name. Okay, Chicago Irish. What we got, man? I appreciate you calling.
Oh, man, the emotions are running high today. Let me tell you. Before I get to the whole Urban Meyer and how this changes recruiting, let me set the table for you guys. I'm 41 years old, so I grew up in Chicago when it's time, right underneath the Bears and Cubs and right above the Blackhawks and the Sox. Notre Dame was, our team. We'd laugh at when people say South Bend is home. We'd say, no, that's the address. Chicago, the heart and soul of Notre Dame country. Now, onto this situation. Shock beyond belief. Not only are we talking about on the doorstep of the playoffs, but you look at the next 2 years in recruiting, all the experts saying this is the best class that's coming in since New Hope days. And then you look where LSU is on the recruiting trail at the moment, at least. Well, that might change, obviously. There was a pretty good sized gap. Notre Dame was up there with Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama the next 2 years on the recruiting trail. So the future was bright. We got the right defensive coordinator. Everything was rolling. We were a step ahead of what we were supposed to be this year. This was supposed to be next year. With all our young freshmen and tight end, our majority of our talent not even seniors yet. So I was shocked beyond belief, but I get it. Money talks. That's where the loyalty is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed with the timing, but like you said, there is no perfect time to do it. So it's something I got to suck it up as a Notre Dame fan. Now moving on to Urban Meyer and the recruiting. Urban Meyer is not coming to Notre Dame. Let's end that right now. The same reason why he didn't take the Notre Dame job when he ended up in Florida. Notre Dame has that unspoken Randy Moss rule. Randy Moss wanted to go to Notre Dame. His mom cried and begged to let him in despite his troubled past. If you get in trouble while at Notre Dame, that's one thing, like Michael Floyd. But if you have a history of getting in trouble beforehand, no matter how good you are, Notre Dame won't take you like some other schools will. That rubbed Urban Meyer wrong. For Florida, he put Aaron Hernandez as fuckmates with Tebow.
Hey, your coach is responsible for the death of a player, so I wouldn't be or your former coach, I should say. You shouldn't be bringing up other coaches, bad apples.
I'm just saying, going in, Notre Dame tries to avoid taking those players that other schools may look the other way. There's that doesn't sit well with certain coaches, that doesn't sit well with Urban Meyer. And his latest incident, it's going to be a mutual. Neither one is going to be serious about the other.
So you would not be happy if it was announced tonight that Urban Meyer's taking the Notre Dame job. You wouldn't be excited about that?
I would be thrilled to death.
Oh,
but I don't.
I'm glad you said that, because I was ready to go at you if you said no, because I'm like, I get why all the moral reasons why people would say they don't think Urban would be a good fit at a place, but I would have a hard time believing that the people saying that still wouldn't do a cartwheel if Urban takes over their program. I'm very glad you said that, Bryan, so I respect the hell out of you for at least saying that, so good job.
No, I would love to have Urban Meyer, but I just think both sides, there's too many things that have happened that just won't happen.
But Bryan, I'm going to cut you off. You're fading in and out. It is hard to hear you. I'm glad you called, though, and let your opinion on that be heard. We're going to get to the Urban Meyer, Luke Fickel stuff in a moment, but I appreciate your call.
All right, thanks, guys.
518-1410. Yeah, okay, so I misunderstood. So when he was saying Urban wouldn't be a good fit Notre Dame, there's just too much stuff going back. Look, I don't know. I still think that, Urban's camp coming out today and saying he has no interest in going back to college. I have a hard time believing that if Urban's camp reached out to Notre Dame and said, hey, he's interested in coming back, he would be the coach. Like if Notre Dame came out, they had truth serum, put it, the athletic director tried to say, here's the list of coaches we want in the list in the order of which we're targeting them. Urban would be 1, Urban would be 2, and Urban would be 3. Oh, you can't get Urban? All right, well, let's put together a list of guys that we can hopefully get. And then that's where the Luke Fickels of the world come into. And Luke Fickel won't be a bad get for them. But I also think Notre Dame, you got to be a little careful. I think Luke Fickel is a great get if you can get him. But I also think that there's just not a lot of coaches available out there that they can go get and salvage this recruiting. They have the number 4 recruiting class for next season. That's going to dip. Like I think they're in trouble as far as that's concerned. I like Marcus Freeman, but I think it's a local thing for me is why I like him. I'm pulling for him. I would love to see him get that, but they came out today and said, no, it will not be anyone that's on the staff currently. There's talks of LSU opening up the wallet big time to try and land him as their defensive coordinator. If I'm Ryan Day, the only time I want to hear Ryan Day's name right now is that he's, arm wrestling guys to try to get an offer into him. Ohio State needs to pony up some cash and start getting these guys in there. They desperately need a Marcus Freeman. Ohio State, if they want to return to being balanced on both sides of the ball, they need a Marcus Freeman. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just irritated with that. I really hope Ohio State really becomes aggressive in putting a staff around Ryan Day that's going to help elevate that program, because we can't. It's not this last year's defense as the problem, Kev. The defense has been down for going on 3 now.
Yeah.
It's no longer a down year. It's now a problem. It was like that in 18. It was like that in 19 and 20, or 19. It was elevated. The defense wasn't terrible. 18, 20, and now 21. 3 of the last 4 years, it's been a damn embarrassment defensively. That's kind of where I'm at.
Was it?
What was that 3? Justin Fields year? You have Jeff Okudah and you had all those guys. I mean, there's a lot of.
Oh no, yeah, they balled out that year.
Yeah, that was that 2019 season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I said, but 18 was bad. 17 was bad too. But they had dudes though. They had dudes. But either way, I'm not gonna pick on that 17 class. That 17 year was good. 18 was bad. You're letting Purdue put up almost 50 on you. You're letting Maryland move the ball at will up and down. 19 good. 20 not so good. And then, of course, 21. Now, 19, the defense played better against
19,
Clemson.
19 was great.
Yeah.
19 was great.
That was, yeah.
You should have won the championship that year, dog. For me, if I'm a Notre Dame fan, there's only 2 people on the list for me. It's Marcus Freeman for multiple reasons, because he's the lead recruiter. He was the lead recruiter at UC. That's why UC took a big bump. He's the lead recruiter at Notre Dame. He's the reason that they took a big bump in recruiting. You got to say the recruiting class. So make him the head coach. Make him the head coach. And also you do what kind of like Michigan did with Juwan Howard. You make sure you take care of him. You make sure you put people around him to show him the ropes, so to speak. Make sure you give him enough money to get the get the coaches around him to win games, to do what you're supposed to do. Or it's Luke Fickel. The whole thing about Luke Fickel is the rumors. He's not leaving the Midwest. He's not leaving UC. He's building something. Miss me with that, man. Like, we've heard this whole song and dance a million times before about, oh man, he loves it here. Yeah, he loves it there. He's got a good football team, making a lot of money, got a great family, all that good stuff. Of course he's happy. Don't mean you can't be happier somewhere else. That's, you know what I'm saying? So all these coaches always say the same thing until things change, until they get an offer they can't refuse on the table. So if Notre Dame wants Fickel, they can have Fickel. If Notre Dame wants Marcus Freeman, like you said with the reports, they're saying it's not going to be somebody on the staff. Maybe Marcus Freeman isn't ready to be a head coach at college football yet. That I don't know. But trust, believe, if Notre Dame wants Luke Fickel, Luke Fickel's there for the taking. And unfortunately for Luke Fickel, I will have the same energy for him as I have for Bryan Kelly. You're right there, man. And the reason it would sting more, you got one game to play to punch your ticket to the college football playoff. And all this rumors, all this circulation right now, you think these kids ain't thinking like, oh man, is he about to bounce on us? Is he about to? You need these dudes dialed in. No matter how many, okay, let's say UC has 5 dudes that are going to be playing in the pros, where Alabama has 15 dudes playing in the pros. You need everybody locked in, because just because you have a Sauce Gardner, just because you have a Kobe Bryant on your team, just because you have a Lenny Williams from Springfield on your team and everything like that, just because they're going to be playing in the pros, the rest of your roster is on the same level as Houston. So you need your guys that are going to be playing in the pros to play like pros, especially on Saturday, to punch your ticket to the college football playoff. If there's any dissension in that, you could lose this game, and then it'll be for nothing. It'll be everything you've done before that will be for nothing. So I know he had a press conference today, and it was vague as it could be. I would prefer him, even if it's a lie, if it's a lie, I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying here. We got business to handle on Saturday. Even if it's a lie, you got to win this game. No matter if you win the game and then bounce to Notre Dame, I wouldn't like it, but you got to win this game. You got to do this not only for the fans, but for the guys on the team. You got to lie to them for their own good. You can't have their minds wandering elsewhere thinking, oh, man, coach is going to bounce on us. Oh, well, time to dial up that agent. Make sure I get this bag. I'm a first-round pick. I'm a top 3-round pick. I need to get paid, too. You got to have everybody dialed in for this game versus Houston on Saturday. Coach Fickel, no, you're not listening to me, little old Kev Nash in Dayton, Ohio. Lie to him. Lie to him. Tell him you're not going anywhere. Not only lie to them to their face, and in the locker room, lie to them on national TV so everybody in the world can see it and hear it. And they're not getting phone calls from their uncle and aunts and cousins and everything like, man, Fickel leaving, coach leaving. Nah, man, coach staying. We riding or dying with Coach Fickel at Bearcat Nation. Lie to them. You have to win this game no matter what. No matter what, no matter if you're signing backdoor deals with Notre Dame or Oklahoma, whatever you're going to do on Sunday, let that be on Sunday. But Saturday, up until now, till Saturday, lie to them. You got to win.
So, and I love that you said that, because this is the stuff I get mad at. Oh, Bryan Kelly, he's the devil, because he literally said on Sunday afternoon or Saturday that he's riding with Notre Dame, that's his team, and he's going nowhere. Well, you have to say that. That's why I get mad at people who get mad at coaches for saying that. First of all, the coaches aren't wrong for lying. You're just dumb for believing them. When Ryan Day comes out and says, oh, I bleed scarlet and gray, I'm going nowhere, and you drool over that. Oh, he's going nowhere. You're an idiot. He has to say that. If Ryan Day actually came out and said, well, I really love it here, but to be honest, my options are always open. If a better opportunity is out there, I'm going to take it. I got to do what's best for me and my family, which is a right answer, by the way. That is a great answer. You always got to do what's best for you and your family. You always got to do what's best for you financially, mental health wise, physical wise, everything. That's an acceptable, but it's not an acceptable answer, because everything you say has a ripple effect of, well, my options are always open. Well, now you have 20 recruits that are considering Ohio State that are now saying, yeah, I'm out. He doesn't seem like he's very, my next 2-3 years here, I don't think he's going to be here for the duration of my time here. I'm out. So when Bryan Kelly comes out and says, I'm going nowhere, this is my team. When Lincoln Riley says, I'm not leaving, this is my team, they're actually doing their job. because of exactly what Kev said. And I'm going to have the audio coming up here in a moment of today's press conference. I'm not going to lie. The last time I saw a press conference as bad as what I saw today from Luke Fickel, he looked like Adam Gase. Remember when Adam Gase was announced as the head coach of the Jets? Yes. So there, the very first 6-7 seconds of the answer that Luke Fickel gives, his eyes are huge. And he's like staring a hole into the soul of the reporter. It was uncomfortable. You're not going to be able to see it on the radio side of things, but I'll have it for you. He didn't blink for 9 seconds giving this answer, and he was fumbling over his words. It was embarrassing. I felt bad for him, but you know what? You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're damned if you do what Fickel did today and say, yeah, I don't even pay attention to the press clippings. I don't even pay attention to what jobs are opening. I'm finding out because you're telling me. He's pulling that line, which is always cute and adorable. And it's like, that's what fans want coaches to do. And then, by the way, you'll still turn on Luke Fickel when he leaves here in a couple of weeks. You'll be like, oh, man, I can't believe he's bailing on this team. We were building something here. That's what you guys always do. There's not a solution out there that's right, but there is a solution that checks off more boxes to make the transition easier. And I'm sorry, but lying is it. Coaches have to lie. They have to lie to you. If they think that they're signing on the dotted line to take a job tomorrow, as far as today's concerned, this is the best job in the history of the world because it's my current job. So I'm with you, Kev. I agree 100%. Lie, and lie some more. Because if we picked up on the vagueness of his responses, what do you think the players are thinking?
Right.
What do you think they're thinking? And now when they're prepping for what could be a matchup with Georgia, what could be a matchup with Michigan or Alabama or whoever, they're not focused on that anymore. They're not focused on their matchup with Houston and the AAC title game coming up. Oh, man, coach didn't sound like he's too committed to us. I mean, could he bounce like Bryan Kelly did? Could he bounce like Lincoln Riley did? You're right, Kev. And by the way, that's already happening. That's already entered the minds of these players because they know he's as good as gone. They know he's as good as gone. Most likely.
Unfortunately.
But 518-1410, got to step away for a few moments. I'm sure you'll like this. Shaw is giving us advice on Ohio State football. He says, where'd it go? David Shaw says, when the Buckeyes put their focus on the offense and putting 50 on the board, your defense is going to struggle. So thanks for the advice.
Oh, man, they get so brazen, don't they?
Oh, yeah, the brazen blue.
Oh, man, the set on you now. Okay. Even though I was the one saying, oh, man, well, it ain't going to be easy. Oh, no, we don't stand a chance. You're going to maul us.
And then he laughs.
Oh,
you know what? No.
He didn't watch the game.
Oh, Shaw. All right, we'll be back in a moment. 518-1410. Who we got? I see Ron. I see Charlie. I see Brian. We have 2 phone lines open. 518-1410. Let's get you guys on hold, and I'll shut up and let you all talk. I'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear, sunny, and breezy, a high near 50. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, a low near 30. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with a chance of rain, a high near 48. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Take home Fricker's Holiday Feast. Frickin' yum, 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 yum. Our gift cards always please. Frickin' yum, 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 yum.
Take home 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $29.99, carry out only. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and you'll get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho, ho, ho! For fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Frickin' yum, yum.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month and no contract. Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Shop on eBay this holiday season to get more for your dough on stand mixers, or get more for your buck on this season's hottest tech and gaming gear. And on eBay, you can even get more Cyber Monday rewind the clock deals. Cyber Monday prices are back for one day only. Get more and save more on premium brands with eBay's can't miss Monday deals. Get more when you get it on eBay.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches, weakness, or discomfort in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 selling nerve care company. Nervive contains alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, and B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live your life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. Browse the largest display of hot tubs and swim spas in the region from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. That's this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Dayton. Visit spashow.com or call 800-SPA-SALE.
500,000 businesses connect using Zoom, a single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
BC Powder knows life pushes us to the max, work to the max, family to the max. It can all mean pain to the max. So BC introduces new BC Max Strength. New BC Max relieves tough headaches and body pain at the speed of powder. Nothing stronger on pain without a prescription. Pain to the max? New BC Max in a great tasting lemonade flavor.
Finding the right Medicare plan may feel impossible, but now it's anything but. With Walgreens Find RX coverage tool, you can compare plans online, over the phone, or in person, making Medicare easier than ever. Easier than picking which true crime doc to watch, figuring out that Wi-Fi password, or putting the duvet cover back on. So if you can do those things, with Find RX coverage, you can definitely Medicare. Find the plan that's right for you by visiting walgreens.com/Medicare.
Suffering from junk sleep? The sleep experts at Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Cyber Week sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ohio State and Duke tonight, 9:30 the tip-off right here on 9:30 the tip-off right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. It's the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Duke, as of earlier this afternoon, was a 2-point favorite, the number 1 team in the country. They're now a 3-point favorite, so that line shifted. Duke, a field goal favorite. I'm surprised by that line, by the way. It's the number 1 team. It's Duke, an unranked Ohio State. I'm really surprised Ohio State's not ranked. I mean, it's tough to get ranked in college basketball.
Yes.
It's real tough. I watch Ohio State, and maybe it's the fandom in me, but I'm like, this is a top 25 team. They have everything you need to be a top 25 team. I don't think they're Duke level good or Gonzaga or Kansas for that matter. But I think they're pretty dang good. And but they're 4-2 on the season, and they're a 3-point dog with Duke in town tonight. I love college basketball for stuff like this. I love that you have these challenges to where you're not really deciding who you play. The conferences or whoever's in charge of these challenges tell you who you're going to play. I think they're good for college basketball, especially when you get results like this. I wish there was more of this in college, or not more of this. I wish this existed in college football. I would love a Big Ten SEC challenge every year, and that makes your job easier. You don't have to schedule. You just, all right, we have the Big Ten SEC Challenge is locked in on these dates every year. Ohio State, Alabama. This year it's at Alabama. Next year it's at Ohio State. Boom, you move on to the next one. I'm telling you, there's always reasons why it doesn't happen. It's egos. It's this. It's that.
It's 100%
But
ego.
man, I love that it happens in basketball, though. I'll tell you that.
How long has the Big Ten ACC Challenge been going on? Let me see.
I'd love to know how that came about too.
That's a good question. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, you get tons of matchups, and like you said before, the conferences give you like opponents. Like you're not gonna have, I don't know, Duke playing Penn State. Like it makes no sense for them to play each other because we kind of like figure out what's gonna happen. You got Penn State playing like not Wisconsin, but Wake Forest or something like that. Another matchup that's going on tonight. The team that I follow in college basketball, Syracuse, is playing Indiana, two like opponents, consummate bubble teams, so it provides a lot of good matchups and provides a lot of good basketball.
So, again, that's tonight, Ohio State basketball on 1410 ESPN Radio. Do want to make sure, again, the Dayton Flyers will be back in action on Wednesday. But, man, what a freaking game over the weekend. They won that ESPN Invitational, but I still can't get this call out of my head.
Fellas, right the basket. They get it back, though. They get it back. Seal for the win.
Poor Dickie V.
Look at the bedlam. Look at the bedlam. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, Boog. I can't believe it,
Boog. I can't believe it, Boog. Dickie V cracks me up, dude, because he loses his damn mind, which that's what you're supposed to do in those situations. But I'm just saying, like, it was absolutely insane. The call matched it perfectly. Dickie V's call was freaking awesome. So it's awesome, baby. But that was a hell of a win. Like I said, I've never seen anything like it. Never seen a team lose to three horrible teams like they did at UD Arena, to turn around and to beat Miami, to the Hurricanes, to beat, obviously, number 4 team at the time in Kansas, and then, of course, to beat Belmont in the championship game. I've never seen a turnaround like that, but good for them, and they're back at home on Wednesday, and we'll talk more about that as the week goes on. But there you go. By the way, Shaw keeps talking smack. I don't get it. See, this is why, like, they're all Michigan fans are no, forget. They're morons. Michigan fans are morons. Like, you literally feel good about the win. Kev, I went right to Facebook. I said, I know I have and all this nice stuff I did. I'm about to undo it by calling all Michigan fans morons. They're not all morons, but Shaw's the face of them for right now. So there you go. You go as your leader goes. But I said the first thing I did on Facebook after the game was, hey, I actually appreciate all the Michigan fans that we have that listen to the show. So because of that, to show my appreciation, that was a good win. Michigan, that was a great win. Michigan won that game.
Yeah.
There are games where the good team beats themselves and they don't play well and they just, you know what I mean? They don't have it that day and they get steamrolled by a bad team. That's not what happened this past Saturday.
Right.
The better team, the more, on both sides of the ball, I give Michigan's defense a lot of credit. But there's been too many examples of Michigan having a top-rated defense that never lives up to being the top-rated defense. And I thought this Ohio State offense was better than some of the offenses that have dominated better statistical defenses for Michigan in years past. Like 2 years ago when they dropped 62 on them against the number 1 defense in the country. Remember that? Like, that was insane. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit there and say, I was wrong, as if I feel bad about being wrong. I had a lot of history on my side to show that I don't care about your defensive numbers. I don't care about, the fact that you only have 1 loss on the season. At the end of the day, you had an 8-1 record against teams that are more built like you. You finally beat an elite team in Ohio State. Congratulations. But I'm done being humble and trying to say the right things, because at the end of the day, the fan base, your team finally gets a win and you're acting like, you dominate the damn rivalry now. Give me a break. You were irrelevant for an entire decade. Your coach had to take a pay cut. You have dudes like Mel Tucker, a year and a half, and not even a full year into his career, making $9.5 million. And your coach just had to take a pay cut to stick around to finally get his first win against Ohio State. Like, give me a break. Your program has been a joke because everyone has expectations for him and they never live up to it. Now you got Shaw putting his big old chest out, just trying to shake his man boobs in her face to say, ha, look at what my team did. Ha, look at what my team did. You don't even watch the games and you're chirping, Shaw.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. The few Michigan fans that I know, they talk trash all the time. And you got to respect it because they talk trash when they're winning. They talk trash when they're losing to Ohio State.
You watch trash, you speak trash. That's how it works.
So I can respect that. What Shaw is doing, I can't respect. I can't respect this at all. Zero respect for what he's doing here. He's in the comment section. He's talking trash. He's talking trash to you and I and me, especially because I was telling him his team actually had a chance and he just couldn't believe it. No way. You guys are too good. You're Ohio State this, Ohio State that. I don't care. Hutchinson's, he's okay. He's a first round pick, but you guys are just too good for us. And now he's the man in the streets. Now he's popping his collar. Now he's got his chest out. Now he's talking trash about the program, the Buckeyes. But a week ago, we were the best thing since sliced bread in his eyes. And you know what? And what really pains me about this whole situation is Hutchinson's going to win the Heisman Trophy.
I didn't talk trash to you, Kev. I talked trash to Justin. You're talking trash. It doesn't matter who it's to. You sound weird.
Hutchinson's going to win the Heisman Trophy. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because there's no clear-cut favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. That's
Still should
one.
be Stroud.
That's one. Two, unless Alabama beats Georgia and he has a great game at the quarterback position. I'm talking about Bryce Young, their quarterback at Bama, which I don't think is going to happen. They can't run the ball on Auburn. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball on Georgia. So that if Hutchinson has 2-3 sacks in the Big Ten championship game, he's going to win the Heisman Trophy. Not only that, is because, the redemption story of Michigan football, the only other defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy is Charles Woodson. Like that whole thing, the media votes on this stuff. They eat that type of stuff up. They love storylines and everything like that. Hutchinson is going to win the Heisman Trophy if he has an outstanding performance in the Big Ten championship game. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully Iowa wins. Go Kirk Ferentz. Never thought me hear me say that, did you?
How about this line? Michigan, they're a 10.5 point favorite against Iowa. They ain't covering.
Tell them, Kenner.
They're not covering that. Like, Iowa's going to win this game. Like, that's the thing. Like, Michigan, they got their win against the team that mattered most to them. They put it all into that game.
They're going to pull a Sparty?
Oh, they're definitely going to pull a Sparty because that's the thing. While Michigan thinks, oh, look at us, we beat Ohio State. That's because you just won your Super Bowl. When Ohio State beats Michigan every year, it's like, okay, we got that little kid out of the way. Now let's go play the teams that matter. Like, the thing is, you're still closer to the Iowas of the world than you are the Ohio States of the world. I know you just beat Ohio State. Super. Awesome. You know what? Upsets happen, right? We talk about upsets happening. You upset the Buckeyes. Congratulations. Good job. Ohio State, if they're in the championship game playing Iowa, that's a 19-point line right there. So, and here you are, 10.5-point line, and you still won't cover that, and Iowa's still going to win. And now they have me all fired up and angry because it's like, my goodness, I tried to do the right thing and say that was a good win for them. They even had your goofy-ass tree-climbing coach, making comments about baseball and all this stuff. Oh, yeah, you're on third base, think you're born there, whatever the hell. This is coming from the guy that bunts into an out on a full count, and he's sitting there taking shots at Ryan Day. Give me a break. Give me a break. You're right. You're a season away from going back to losing to your typical rivals and then going right back to, well, it's a good thing we gave him a pay cut. Congratulations. He earned his pay cut. Let's just put it that way. 518-1410. Are you surprised by the 10.5-point line, by the way? Are they covering?
They're going to cover.
They're going to cover.
They're going to win.
They're going to the playoffs?
They're going to win. They're going to go to the playoffs.
And then lose to Cincinnati, baby.
Go Bearcats.
I'll definitely go for the Bearcats. I'll get a Bearcat jersey.
You get you a Desmond Ritter?
Oh, yeah.
No, I think that Michigan's going to win. I think it's going to be one of them slobber knocker games. It's going to be pretty boring. Most Iowa games are boring.
Most Michigan games are boring.
I think it's going to be one of those. But, don't blow it. Oh, don't blow it. Because, honestly, Kenner, we've been doing this show for quite a while now, and before I was even on the show with you, my stance on a lot of things.
Oh yeah, bumper sticker.
Yes.
One game at a time.
Yes.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes. And that's legit me because I literally live like that. And I'm not a person that really hate watches. I just watch the game and look for entertainment. Nah, not this time, buddy. Not this time. I'm hate watching.
You're a big Kirk Ferentz fan too.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely. You know how much I love him. Man, it's going to be so easy for me to root for him. So yeah, I'm hate watching. Yeah, I'm dipping to that. That's what this has brought me to. It's brought me to an all-time low of hate watching and rooting for Iowa football. So deal with it. Sorry. I'm not perfect.
Wow, Shaw, you did something that only one other caller has done in the history of this show. You got under Kev's skin. Mikey it's Mikey and Shaw. You guys are two of a kind right there.
Don't blow it.
By the way, Mikey should be calling in because he could be bragging about Anthony Grant.
True
and all the wins over the weekend. Ryan Day gets a loss over the weekend. Oh, interim coach lost to Michigan. I mean, this was his opportunity. Johnny, I was reading the comment on here. Mikey, if you're listening, give us a call.
Oh, no.
518-1410, Mikey. Let's do this thing again. I promise not to yell. He called me a fat ass. I didn't even know he called me that, so I went back and listened to it. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I really wish I would have known because I'm not fat anymore. Thanks a lot, Mikey.
Oh my goodness, man! But as far as Michigan's concerned about this Iowa game and the Big Ten championship game, any Michigan fans going to the game? Y'all going to Naptown?
So Doug Toby, where did his comment go? I have to go back and find it. He said something about he said, not sure if this is true or not, but I heard that Ohio State fans are going to the Big Ten championship game wearing Iowa clothes.
Let's go.
And that Michigan fans are having trouble getting hotels because Ohio State fans had booked so many rooms and it's non-refundable. Keep them damn hotels.
Petty mob.
Keep them. My goodness. Let Harbaugh with all that money. And by the way, Harbaugh did a really nice thing. All of his incentive bonuses that he is getting, he is donating back to the department to give. Super.
That's nice.
But he called a press conference to announce it.
Just do it.
Hey, guys, I'm doing nice things over here. Anyone give me some attention for it? I'm not just going to give away my money for the hell of it and not get credit for it. I just beat Ohio State. I'm feeling pretty good. I kind of like this pricey. This is what happens. It's the first time he's been priced since being hired at Michigan. Now he's addicted to it. So now he needs everyone he's addicted to people talking good about it.
They want him, they want him to kiss the ring. Look, man, don't blow
disclaimer, that is really cool what he's doing.
Absolutely.
But I did find it kind of weird that he had to call a press conference to announce. Breaking news, Jim Harbaugh just announced in his press conference that he's going to be donating all of his money to blah, 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 blah. Anyways, keep going.
That's awesome. Don't blow it, though. Don't blow it. Oh, don't blow it. And you know me, Kenner, I'm not really that guy that does the trash talking. I just, it is what it is. It sucks. It's great. Blah, blah, blah. All that type of stuff. But if Iowa get you, if they get you in the Big Ten,
just had to get off our high horse, by the way.
Ain't nobody on the high horse, baby. You on our chat. You on our chat, baby. If Iowa gets you, I'm talking big trash. I'm talking big trash. So, hey, don't blow it. Pressure's on you. Pressure's on you, baby.
I'm going to the local TJ Maxx. They always have random clothes of teams that no one cares about. Like I did see an Iowa shirt the other day. There was some Bengals stuff in there. Usually the teams that no one cares about, they have a bunch of stuff there. So I'll have to go and see if they have some of that Iowa stuff. I'm going to buy you an Iowa shirt. We're gonna rock the Iowa. Iowa has a fight song. We're gonna get that Iowa fight song all loaded up in here. The rest
TJ Hockenson jersey.
There you go, TJ Maxx. There you go. 518-1410. Kev, where's Charlie at? Where's Charlie? 4. Charlie, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How you guys?
Good.
Living the dream. Are you out on the road?
Yeah, I'm actually driving right through downtown Dayton right now.
There you go. You coming home from work? What are your hours, Charlie? How often are you out driving?
I'm still working. I'm almost finished up though.
Not bad.
Well, you know what? I don't hate Bryan Kelly. I get it. You know what I mean? Because that's just the nature of the beast. And I always thought it was crazy. It sucks when he left Cincinnati. But I always thought it was crazy that people are like, can you believe that? It's like, to go to Notre Dame? That's shocking. Like, it's kind of weird that he's going to LSU. But, I mean, he's going to get SEC talent. And I think he just wants to prove that he can coach with the greats, you know what I mean?
Charlie, real quick to interrupt on that, like his legacy is being put in question because he is recruiting real well at Notre Dame, and they're winning a lot of games. As I said earlier, from the time that he became a head coach in 2004, only one other coach has more wins than him. And that's Nick Saban. But what people are doing now is they're like, well, Bryan Kelly, he recruits well, he wins a lot of games, but he can't win the big one. Well, the reason he can't win the big one is because, he has very good rosters until you take him to the table with an Alabama, until you take him to the table with teams like that. That's why we've seen them get just absolutely curb stomped in the playoff every year. I don't think that's a fair thing to do to him, but I think he knows that. He knows his legacy is on the line, and I think that's why he wants to go to a team like LSU where there's no restrictions. You can go get the dumbest athletes in the world. You can go get the dumbest athletes in the world. There's no restrictions on them. So I think that's one thing that went into it. I also get annoyed when people say he chased the money. You mean to tell me that if he took that offer to Notre Dame that they wouldn't have matched it? He just didn't want to be there anymore, and that's ultimately why he left.
Okay, as good as the players have been at Notre Dame, he's never had Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? Like, he's never had guys like that. Like, they've been good. They get a lot of. I mean, it's just a
tight ends and offensive linemen.
Well, yeah, and Notre Dame, it's such an exclusive school. It's one of the few. I mean, it might be the only big blue blood program. I guess USC maybe, but where academics are still held at such a high standard versus sports. And I also heard that it's just they're like tough on, like they expect them to act a certain way. But anyway, the only thing I was really kind of, when Kev was talking about how like there's only 5 kids at Cincinnati that might go pro, and you know the rest of these kids, you know, they're going to go on with their lives. And it sucks, and it's not Bryan Kelly's fault. And if Luke Fickel leaves, it's not his fault. It's just the nature of the beast. But it really does. It sucks for everybody. It sucks for the fans. Like, we're watching Cincinnati do this all year. And if Luke Fickel leaves, what if they do go to the play? How crazy would it be? It probably won't happen. But, like, if Cincinnati and Notre Dame ended up in the playoffs and they don't have coaches. Like, that. I mean,
well, here's
Notre
the deal
Dame would
about
probably be okay.
real quick, Charlie. Here's the thing with Luke Fickel and the Bearcats. When Luke Fickel leaves, I'm not going to blame him one bit, and here's why. Because I keep hearing people say, "Well, there's no need to leave now. They're a Power 5 school. Or they will be here in a couple years." Well, okay, Cincinnati, take a look around. Now you're in the big time. You wanted to sit at the adult table, and you wanted to be a Power 5 school. Well, you need to pony up some cash, because the thing is, Luke Fickel, I think they have a good shot to keep him if they act like a Power 5 school. If they try to do this whole, we're an American Conference school and we can't afford to keep it. We just learned with all these schools. I heard Paul Feinbaum today say that Nick Saban looks pretty silly right now because this money has been out there to be made for coaches for a long time, and it took now to all of a sudden for these teams to open up their wallets to pay the coaches this much money. Like, these coaches have been underpaid for so long. This money's been sitting there. We're coming off of a pandemic where these schools are supposedly having money issues, and now they're paying these coaches more than they've ever been paid before. Cincinnati, pony up. Pay Luke Fickel. If Luke Fickel leaves, it's not because, oh, you're an American Conference school. It's not because, oh, you're not Notre Dame and these others. You're about to go into the Big 12. You're about to be a Power 5 school. You're a playoff contender now as an American Conference team. Wait till you get to the Power 5 and have more money and resources. Pay Luke Fickel. It's an investment. If he leaves, it's their fault, because I don't want to hear. I even give Dayton a ton of credit. When Archie tried to leave, they offered him everything. They said, we'll make you a top 10 compensated coach in college basketball. Archie still left, but I give Dayton a ton of credit for trying to spend money like the big boys, saying, hey, we make a lot of money. We'll make you a lot of money. Stay. He ultimately left, but Cincinnati better do the same thing. Pay the damn dude his money.
Yeah, it's got to be. I'm curious, because in my mind, it's like playing NCAA football on a video game. You're like, oh, I want to 5 titles with the Bearcats, but I don't know if that's like his mindset. Because it's got to be so hard. Like, if Notre Dame calls him, that's the call of a lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't happen. Like, if Oklahoma calls him, you're just not going to answer the phone?
Yeah, it's a legacy play.
I don't know how you could be mad at that. I don't know how anybody could be mad at that.
It's legacy.
You know?
It's legacy. I mean, let's be clear, man. Nobody talks about Cincinnati football all the way back to the 40s like we do with Notre Dame and the Four Horsemen and everything like that. Like, you know, and all the great players that Oklahoma's had for decades and everything like that. Like, you see what they're doing right now outside of the Bryan Kelly years. I don't remember anything about UC football. Matter of fact, didn't even know UC had a football team. You know what I'm saying? I know about UC. I know about UC because of basketball. Nick Van Exel and Kenyon Martin and those guys. Like, I didn't think about UC as a football program. And I know everybody wants him to stay and build this up and to be a powerhouse, and he'd be the guy responsible for it. But if he leaves, especially right now, I would be upset because they're so close to getting to the college football playoff. And if they were to get to the college football playoff, I would want him to be the coach there. But you're right. I mean, these are generational teams like Notre Dame and Oklahoma. If they call, you do have to listen. You owe it to yourself to listen. I mean, let's be clear. Everybody has jobs that if their dream job call, you're going to listen. You know what I'm saying? Is Notre Dame his dream job? Is Ohio State his dream job? I don't know. I don't know if he ever grew up thinking like, oh man, UC Bearcats head coach, that's my dream job. But he's in the job now, and it's his responsibility to put his players in the best position to win this game on Saturday to punch their ticket to the college football playoff. And that's why I say he needs to lie to his players about winning this game, because that's important. That is ultimately the most important thing. You know, I know, because he'll be perfectly fine. He'll be perfectly fine. Great family, making a ton of money. He'll be perfectly fine. These kids that's on his team, Some of them dudes aren't going pro. Like I said, maybe 5 of them are going to be playing in the NFL. The rest of them, the other 80-something dudes, they're going to be managers at name your retailer or factory or whatever. Be a big wig in a Fortune 500 company. That'd be awesome. But they're creating memories, and to be a part of the first non-Power 5 team to go to the college football playoff, you go down in history, man. So I just really think that's important for him to lock in, and not only lock in for himself, but to lock in for his players, man. Like, you don't want to leave in a situation where you were so close and you end up losing because guys weren't focused on the task at hand.
Charlie, you there?
Yeah, I totally.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I wonder how much that 1 year of coaching in Ohio State, although he was the interim coach, he has had that taste of coaching a blue blood, and I wonder if that is what's kept him at UC for this long, because maybe I really don't know. And I'm just like a lot of other people that are like, man, I hope he stays. I hope he does build, and maybe they do win something down the road. But I mean, let's be real. Like, that's probably not going to happen. But, Kev, I wasn't going to talk trash about the Steelers, but I do got to say,
thanks.
And I've never been on the Steelers or dirty train, but, hey, y'all hit my right tackle, man. That was dirty.
It's football.
That was real dirty. You know what I'm talking about?
This is football, sir. This is football.
No.
Shaking hands, kissing babies. It's football.
That's all I'm going to say. And then I stayed up all night Sunday and watched that Browns game. I don't know what the hell I watched. That was some of the worst football I've ever seen.
Yeah, I watched the game too. I thought the Lions-Steelers game was the worst game I watched this season until Sunday night, where my guy Lamar Jackson played like crap, and where the Browns got 4 turnovers and they decided we're only going to cross the 50 one time. It was not entertaining.
Did you hear what the stat was on that?
Yeah, it's first time in like 60 years or something crazy like that.
And in the last 6 years, when that's happened, teams are 0-52.
Like, I don't know how that happens.
We all know how that happened.
How?
You know what? Honestly, at this point, it's like, man, somebody needs to sit Baker down, let him rest.
You mean the only mofo on the offense that actually did anything that whole entire game? That guy? That makes no damn sense. He has receivers dropping passes left and right, jumping off sides left and right. I mean, they're an undisciplined team from the top down right now. It is not on one person, but it's easy to put it on Baker because that's what you do, and that's fine. And you got me, you a-hole. You happy? I was sitting here saying, I'm just going to let him talk. I'm not going to say a word. And then all of a sudden I started I could feel my face turning red. Damn it, Charlie.
The best part about it was when they showed the Steelers and the Ravens on animation, and they were sitting on the throne with their championships in the AFC North. And then the Bengals were like the knight with the shield because they won 4. And then they showed the Cleveland Brown as the jester because they haven't won anything. As soon as I saw that,
so funny.
I was like, oh, my God, I hope Justin's watching this right now.
I was watching. It was so funny, Charlie. Charlie, have fun. Have a good night. Take care, Charlie.
Hey, Houday, baby.
By the way, did you see my stat from yesterday?
No.
That the Cincinnati Bengals have learned that you can't let Joe Burrow throw the ball more than 30 times or you lose football games. You know that the Bengals are – so Baker Mayfield and the Browns, Kev, and I'm not getting into this again. I just wanted to bring you up to speed.
On the air?
Live on the air. The Cleveland Browns are 14-21 all time when Baker throws the ball 30 or more times. That stinks, right? That's not good. That's bad, right?
Yeah, it's bad.
And people have been saying that for a long time, that, man, Baker's clearly the problem because the stats show that the Browns are horrible when Baker throws the ball 30 or more times. And that was usually Bengals fans throwing that at me. So all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I wonder. I noticed Joe Burrow has thrown under 200 yards the last 2 weeks, and they're 2-0. And I'm like, he's been throwing well under 30 passes a game. And did you know that the Cincinnati Bengals, Kev, are 4-11-1 when he throws 30 or more times? Did you know that they are 2-4 this year when he throws 30 or more times? Did you know that they are 5-0 this year when he throws less than 30 times a game? That sounds very Baker Mayfield-esque to me.
Sounds like good coaching.
Why?
Sound like good coaching. So you gonna give Zach Taylor some credit, or are you gonna bash Joe Burrow?
I'll give no. Here's the deal.
I tried, Bengals
This goes
fans.
back to being a Joe Burrow problem because he's not as good as people think he is. I'm just saying. By the way, Lamar Jackson had 4 interceptions against the Browns. Joe Burrow should have had 3 against you guys.
I wish he did.
2 interceptions, they just straight up dropped. They look like Cleveland Browns wide receivers. They just let that ball drop. Anyways, so Shaw is back to talking smack. He's back to talking smack again. They're talking. They were going at Charlie. I should have defended. No, I'm not going to defend Charlie. Charlie says stupid things about court gestures and all this stuff with the Browns. No, but no, they're making fun of Charlie, saying that, oh, did this caller Charlie, a Buckeye fan, actually just say that? Did he actually just say that Notre Dame has players? Yes, Notre Dame does have players. Notre Dame is not like to the level of Alabama and Ohio State.
Right.
They're more like Michigan. They're just in between. They got some guys. But did you know that Michigan fans, Todd Hart and Shaw and some others in here, they're jumping all over Charlie. Okay, so while you guys were talking, recruiting rankings, they're sitting there making fun of the lack of talent that Notre Dame has. And I'm like, okay, the class of 2022, Notre Dame is ranked 4th, Michigan 17th. If you look at the class of 2021, Notre Dame ranks 9th, Michigan 13th. If you look at the 2019 class, Notre Dame is ranked 10th, Michigan all the way at number 22. Emmitt Smith, baby. Notre Dame has out-recruited Michigan 3 of the last 4 years. And Michigan fans are literally, and probably more than that. I just went back 4 years. 3 of the last 4 years, Notre Dame and Bryan Kelly, who's a better coach than Jim Harbaugh. Notre Dame's a better program than Michigan. They make the playoffs, actually. They win the games they're supposed to, actually. And you're over here talking smack about Notre Dame. Give me a break. This is how I know I hate Michigan fans and Michigan in general. They're making me defend a program that I can't stand in Notre Dame because they're not in a conference. I can't stand that they're not in a conference. But Michigan fans have made me defend Bryan Kelly and defend in Notre Dame, and that's one reason I can't stand it. Okay, one of many.
Go Bucks.
4-11-1 when Joe Burrow throws 30 or more. My gosh, that's bad.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
This ad for Hellsberg Diamonds has been specifically written for those who'd rather think about football than engagement rings. When free agency starts, your team wants to get the best players they can without spending too much. If your team is you and the players are engagement rings, then your best bet in free agency is shopping at Hellsberg Diamonds, where you know you'll get the highest quality diamonds at prices that keep you from going over the salary cap. Visit your local Hellsberg store and ask about our price match guarantee, or check us out at hellsberg.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year and time for the legendary Buckman's D&D Harley-Davidson Christmas Open House event. Starting on Friday, December 10th through Sunday, December 12th. Take 20% off licensed products, 10% off aftermarket non-Harley-Davidson parts, free gift wrapping, and photos with Santa on Saturday, December 11th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Buckman's D&D Harley-Davidson in Xenia.
Hi, my name is Ted, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Shake is when the peppermint shake is available, that's to me sort of announces that the holiday season is here. I guess most people count down the days until Christmas, but me, I count down the days until the shake comes out.
Hi, I'm Michaela, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Milkshake is that first sip when you taste the peppermint chip pieces, it's like catching snowflakes on your tongue.
Share a peppermint chip milkshake from Chick-fil-A this holiday. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Life is already full of surprises, but your tuition shouldn't be one of them. While education costs rise in the U.S. every year, University of Phoenix is committed to protecting you from rising tuition costs with our tuition guarantee. We lock in your tuition so you can count on fixed, affordable tuition from the moment you enroll to the day you graduate from your program. Learn more at phoenix.edu.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
Spilled the sauce? Quick, the Quicker Picker-Upper. Bounty picks up spills and messes quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce? Okay.
Bounty, the Quicker Picker-Upper.
Hey, yeah, how's it going?
Word of mouth has Dante's dental clinic thriving.
17 new patients? Nice. Is this next month's calendar?
But he needs another dentist to give his schedule a good cleaning.
This is this week? You're kidding. Oh, you're not.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You may have heard that Allstate has new low auto rates, but isn't it time to see for yourself? Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
From city streets to back roads, from road warrior to carpooler, there are some things you can always count on, like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
Hi, my name is Ted, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A peppermint chip shake is when the peppermint shake is available, that's to me sort of announces that the holiday season is here. I guess most people count down the days until Christmas, but me, I count down the days until the shake comes out.
Hi, I'm Michaela, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A peppermint chip milkshake is that first sip when you taste the peppermint chip pieces, it's like catching snowflakes on your tongue.
Share a peppermint chip milkshake from Chick-fil-A this holiday. Available for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Life is already full of surprises, but your tuition shouldn't be one of them. While education costs rise in the U.S. every year, University of Phoenix is committed to protecting you from rising tuition costs with our tuition guarantee. We lock in your tuition so you can count on fixed, affordable tuition from the moment you enroll to the day you graduate from your program. Learn more at phoenix.edu.
My son is not some statistic.
My daughter's not a headline. My girl, she's not someone's agenda.
What she is
irreplaceable. COVID hospitalizations of young people have tripled since the start of summer. So I talked to my daughter's doctor about COVID vaccines.
She said they're highly effective in preventing hospitalizations
And deaths, even from the Delta variant.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Suffering from junk sleep? The sleep experts at Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Cyber Week sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear, sunny, and breezy, a high near 50. Tonight will be mostly cloudy, a low near 30. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with a chance of rain, a high near 48. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Take home Fricker's Holiday Feast. Frickin' yum, 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 yum. Our gift cards always please. Frickin' yum, 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 yum.
Take home 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks for only $29.99, carry out only. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and you'll get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho, ho, ho! For fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Frickin' yum, yum.
Big news from Simply Safe Home Security. Okay. Actually, I think the horns are too much. That's better. Big news. The new wireless outdoor security camera is here. Yes, Simply Safe's award-winning home security just got even better, taking whole home protection to a whole new level. Okay, I'm missing the horns. Simply Safe is celebrating this new camera with 50% off a new system this week. Visit simplysafe.com.
O'Reilly. Is your vehicle ready for holiday travel? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you save on your next oil change. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil for $32.95. Plus, earn double O rewards points with your purchase. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds. Browse over 40 hot tubs from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. Financing is available and show admission is free. That's this weekend at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Dayton. Visit spashow.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
It's here, the Menards Black Friday sale. Hurry in for best selection. Prices good through December 5th. Protect guns, ammo, and other valuable items with a secure 30-gun fire safe. Get it for $499 after rebate. Save on a large 12-quart air fryer that has 7 cooking options. The perfect gift for your favorite foodie. Just $79.99. Check out these and more amazing Black Friday deals at Menards. Available in-store only while supplies last.
Save big money at Menards.
Big news from Simply Safe Home Security. Okay. Actually, I think the horns are too much. That's better. Big news. The new wireless outdoor security camera is here. Yes, Simply Safe's award-winning home security just got even better, taking whole home protection to a whole new level. Okay, I'm missing the horns. Simply Safe is celebrating this new camera with 50% off a new system this week. Visit simplysafe.com.
Why is this oven still going? Hi, this is Nash.
Dinesh's Bakery just landed a sweet catering contract.
40 dozen fritters, Friday at 5 a.m.?
He needs an event planner to help him rise to the occasion.
Oh, every Friday at 5 a.m. Not a problem.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
'Twas the season of cheer and joy filled the town, except for Scrooge with his perma-frown. The gift of a Peloton bike touched his soul without doubt.
Work, Peloton.
When your workout's a joy, it's a joy to work out.
You can do it.
The original Peloton bike is our best price ever, $39 a month. All access membership separate. Terms apply. See website for details.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Suffering from junk sleep? The sleep experts at Mattress Firm can help. Shop the Cyber Week sale and save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sleepy's.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
Spilled the sauce? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills and messes quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce? Okay.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Hey, yeah, it's going.
Word of mouth has Dante's dental clinic thriving.
17 new patients? Nice. Is this next month's calendar?
But he needs another dentist to give his schedule a good cleaning.
This is this week? You're kidding. Oh, you're not.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From city streets to back roads. From road warrior to carpooler. There are some things you can always count on, like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
It's been a while since I've thought about boxing one of our listeners, but I'm pretty damn close to making it official. Justin Kinner against David Shaw. It's one of those, unlike Michigan, Ohio State, where we were wondering who was going to win that. We all know I will win that. Look, this is the best shape I've ever been in. Look, he's still talking smack. This is a dude that literally called in last week that talked about how bad his team was, that said how great Ohio State was, a Michigan fan at that, said he wasn't even going to watch the game, that he never watches the game because how horrible his team is. And we actually heard the weirdo laugh when he called into the show today. And now he's talking smack. What is wrong with you? What is wrong? Like this, that he had the nerve just a few moments ago to say, I'm why he hates Ohio State fans. Really? Look, I'm a very hateable person. I get that. But, don't blame me for why you hate Ohio State fans. Last week you were one. So I don't want to hear it.
Man, he's not a real Michigan fan. I would like to shout out a real Michigan fan. One of my guys.
A real Michigan fan.
One of my guys that went to Wright State with, Jordan. He's a big Michigan fan for some strange reason, but he reps his team all the time, winning or losing, and he watches the game. He's a true Michigan fan. So I will congratulate him and the rest of the true Michigan fans, but the fake Michigan fans kick rocks. Shouts out to the good fellas.
You hear that, Shaw? Kick rocks. One game in 10 years, and you have the nerve to cackle the way you do. Are you kidding me?
That laugh.
Especially, he laughed. The mofo laughed. And this is after on Saturday, I literally put out a Facebook post that said, hey, I appreciate all the Michigan fans that listen to the show. And because of that, to show my appreciation, there's no excuse. We got outplayed from kickoff to the very end. Outcoached, outplayed. I mean, they were out physicaled us. Is that the thing? Out physicaled? Yeah. I know there's a proper way to say that. Was that it?
Out toughed us.
Out toughed us. There we go.
Something like that.
Out physicaled us.
There you go.
I think that's what I said. But anyway, point is, I did the right thing. And that's why I never do the right thing. Because it always comes back to bite me in the ass.
Is that why?
Yeah. And it's a lot easier. People say it doesn't cost a thing to be nice. Yes, it does. It costs a lot. It costs a lot of my energy. I feel better when I just tell people how I feel. I don't have to bottle stuff up and then blow up all the time. Actually, I do blow up all the time. You know what? We're wasting time. We got ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz hanging out with us today. Jason, how are you, sir? I hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
I did, and I'm listening to you, and I got to start here because this is such a college football thing with me that I don't understand. Everybody knows I'm a lifelong diehard Raiders fan, right? When the Raiders win, the first thing that I want to do, and really the only thing I want to do, is find my fellow Raiders fans and celebrate. What I've never understood is why the current college football climate says the absolute first thing that every fan base has to do is find whoever they think doubted them and then get in their face about it. There's such a negativity to the process. What I don't get about being a fan in this world is if you're going to be ticked off every time your favorite team loses, shouldn't you be happy when they win? And shouldn't you find joy instead of just finding more hate to spread at somebody else? It's not just Michigan. It's not just Ohio State. It's across all of college football. I don't get it. When your favorite team wins, go celebrate with your buddies. I don't really understand why you feel the need at that point to use that moment to trash every person, especially the national media people or local media people that picked against your team. Who cares who any of us picked? Go celebrate your win.
Yeah, I'm with you 1,000%.
You hear that, Shaw? I hope you're listening.
Also, Shaw, question for you. Since you were so confident in it, Shaw, send us the receipts. I want to see how much money you put on it. Because if you're a fan that's 1,000% confident on your team to win, then show me that you bet every dollar in the bank. Because if you didn't bet every dollar in the bank, then you weren't any more sure than any of the rest of us were. So just shut up.
Yeah. Yes. Now, this is why he also needs to shut up. Listen, Jason, he doesn't have receipts. He's a horrible fan. He was calling in last week. Kevin was saying, hey, we got to take Michigan serious. This is actually one of the better Michigan teams that Ohio State's gone up against in quite some time. And Shaw, the Michigan fan, called in to tell Kevin, the Buckeye fan, that he was wrong for respecting Michigan and saying that they're going to put up a good fight on Saturday. And then he went on to say that he hasn't watched an Ohio State-Michigan game in years. And then had the nerve to call. So why we're fired up is because he had the nerve to call in earlier. And he usually calls in, Jason, and he's very dull and boring like this. He has no personality. I didn't know the dude knew how to laugh. And then he's laughing and cackling. There's joy in his voice. I'm like, oh, no. You don't get to do that. Last week you were a Buckeye fan, or a Michigan fan pretending to be a Buckeye fan, and now you want to cackle. It don't work that way.
Yeah, and I'll use this example for me last week. My buddy Chris Young, humble brag, the country music artist, he texted me. He's a lifelong diehard.
I have Shaw and you have him. Nice.
and Chris Young texted me on Thanksgiving, the lifelong diehard Cowboys fan, and just was talking his talk. And I said, man, y'all are going to kick our butt, so I got nothing to say. I'm just going to try and suffer through the game. Well, I talked to him today, and he said, man, you didn't text me afterwards? You didn't get me back? And I said, no, because I had no faith in us going in. I can't really trash talk you afterwards. I mean, you can't have both sides of that. I can't say I told you so. So, yeah, again, A, find your joy. B, bring your receipts. Come on now.
So to sum up, Shaw kick rocks. All right, let's move on to the important stuff. So we're talking about that Ohio State-Michigan game here on a Tuesday. And, Jason, I feel like that Ohio State-Michigan game was ages ago. I feel like that was a month ago because so much has happened in the last 48 hours that I feel like that game is just irrelevant at this point with everything that's going on. When Ohio State-Michigan, when that game, the clock hit 0, Lincoln Riley was still the head coach at Oklahoma, and Bryan Kelly was still at Notre Dame. And I cannot believe how much has changed in the last 48 hours. I honestly thought, Jason, that USC was going to get a mid-tier, no-name coach and just hope for the best and oversell it to the public. And I thought LSU was going to have to do the same thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. A lot of coaches have come up being no names at first and developed into something. But those big markets, they want a sexy name. Somehow they both did it. Somehow LSU gets Bryan Kelly and somehow USC gets Lincoln Riley. It's the craziest 48 hours in sports that I can recall.
Yeah, I don't remember ever a 48 hours of what the hell over and over and over again. And, I'll say that up and down because I know some people around the Oklahoma program and they were stunned. And obviously Mike Golick Jr. is a close friend and I texted him right away and he was stunned. I mean, nobody saw any of these moves coming. And now the trickle down effect is huge because guys, there are more high profile. We haven't even talked about the fact that what is Miami going to do? There are high profile gigs all over the place that are available. There are not enough qualified coaches to take the high-profile gigs that are out there. And now the economics have changed to the point that you mess up this hire, the money can only be printed for so long. And if some of these guys if Bryan Kelly is really worth $15 million, if Lincoln Riley is worth not only the $100 million contract, but also the $6 million house and paying off his homes and everything else like that. The economic structure has changed so much. If you're Luke Fickel's agent, you got to be looking at it saying, well, I knew we were going to get offers, but right now, what's the going rate going to be for him if Cincinnati gets in the college football playoff? 12 million, 13 million? That's real numbers now for coaches. So I think the fallout for this changes college football forever, and it's all going to come back to this weekend. And really, I'll say it comes back to Tucker and Franklin getting paid 75 and 95. It changed everything in the structure across the board.
You brought up Luke Fickel. How do you think all these rumors are going to affect them in the AAC championship game this weekend? Because, they still have a game to play. And if they win this game, they probably make the college football playoff. How do you think it affects the players?
I don't think it'll affect the players because they're probably used to a little of this, and Fickel's such a good motivator. I don't think it'll play through. What's interesting to me, and guys, I'll be honest with you, I'm always transparent when I don't know the answer. I'm going to ask Heather Dinich tonight on our rankings reaction show how the committee considers coaching changes, because I've sat through the mock committee process, and one thing they're told to consider is every player that is available or not available at different times in every game. So what I mean by that is Cincinnati's win over Indiana. Remember, Indiana had a defensive star knocked out of the second half for targeting. Well, the committee is told to actually bring that into their minds when they look back at that game. So my question is, if we're going to value players that are available or not available, knowing that, for example, Bryan Kelly's not going to be available for Notre Dame for the playoffs, does that change the way the committee views them? If for some reason in the next 4 days Fickel takes the contract and goes somewhere else, will that change the way the committee views Cincinnati on Sunday, no matter what happens on Saturday? I don't know the answer to that, but it seems, if you're telling me the committee factors every single nuance, man, if you're trying to figure out who the Final Four are on Sunday and one or two of these teams may not have a coach, that certainly would impact the way I saw him if I was on the committee.
Wow.
So, look, I don't dislike Bryan Kelly or anything like that. I don't really feel one way or another about him. I mean, there's only one. I saw a stat today that since he became a head coach back in 2004, there's only one coach that has more wins than him, and that's Nick Saban. I'd say that's a pretty good coach to be behind as far as that's concerned. But, he's being vilified right now. I know there's a pattern of him, leaving a team while there's still work left to be done to take another job. But it's so cutthroat to get these jobs. You only have a split second to decide if you want these jobs. I know it's not the greatest timing with Notre Dame still in the playoff hunt, and it may not be the best timing for Luke Fickel as well. If his dream job is Notre Dame and that job rarely becomes open for a chance for someone like him to get it, these guys are put in tough spots. You don't want to take the job now. You want to keep your current team, you keep them first. But if you don't take it now, you risk not getting it at all. If Luke Fickel takes this Notre Dame job, he's going to be vilified. Bryan Kelly vilified. But the thing is, we're getting mad at the coaches who are being ripped for a horrible system. I don't like blaming the coaches or ganging up on them too much right now, because it's not like there's a dead period where you're not even allowed to talk to these coaches. LSU is going right into their backyard and Notre Dame's backyard to talk to Bryan Kelly, and there's no one there to stop them. So I feel like the system is what we should be mad at and not be putting all the hate on the coaches, because the coaches have no choice. If they don't accept it now, they risk not getting it at all.
You're so right. And I think fans need to, for a second, take off your fan hat, which is difficult for any of us to do no matter your favorite team, and just apply it to a real world regular situation. If you work for Google and Apple is knocking at your door and saying, hey, we want you to come over and work, but you got to take this deal today. If you don't take it today, we can't hire you. And so you're like, all right, well, that's life-changing money for my family, and this is too good an opportunity to pass up. I'll accept it. Now, imagine that the minute you said you'll accept it, that company you accepted puts it out to the world. You didn't have the chance to tell your boss. Like, that's real, and that's what's happening in these situations. So as much as we want this idealistic world where Bryan Kelly can then keep everything hush-hush and he can go make sure he talks to the Notre Dame players and tells them, it's just that the business doesn't work that way. The media doesn't work that way. The coverage doesn't work that way. So, we're presuming that he ran out and screamed from the mountaintops, look at the money I'm making. That's not really the way that happens, right? So, there wasn't a better realistic scenario for him. This is, to your point, a broken system. And the only way it ever gets fixed is if college football puts a freeze on hiring any new coaches or talking to any new coaches until after the national championship game. But you can't do that, because you'll have all these coaches that have been lying about it anyway and recruiting all the way through the early signing period. So there isn't a really easy solution. We just sort of have to accept that this is the cost of doing business in the modern world. And, as much as we hate it when it's our favorite team, in real world, this is just the way the world works.
Yeah, you talk about that, and we got the whole situation with Lincoln Riley, them buying his houses and everything like that. Have we just reached the point where every coach is available? If a program wants you bad enough, you're going to go? Because I never would have thought that, a destination job like Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley would actually leave it and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stunned by it, and I know that USC has the potential to be really good. The one thing that is interesting, and I don't think coaches are sitting here thinking, for everybody that's like, oh, he didn't want to coach in the SEC. I mean, Lincoln Riley is also looking around saying, you want to pay me how much? And you're going to buy me how many houses? And I can live in California? Like, for some people, not for everybody, but for some people, just the thought of living in LA with the up yours money, that's enough to say, hey, that's not a bad place to live. Like, I know a lot of people that work at ESPN that absolutely love working ESPN and that wish constantly they could work at the ESPN office in LA, because some people just click with that city. So, I think that that's part of it for Lincoln Riley, but also you're right. I mean, now it is going to be a matter of, for an industry that between 2010 and 2021, coaches in college sports and in basketball and football were paid almost $500 million in buyouts. That's my biggest question, is like, what are we going to do if Mel Tucker, for example, doesn't win a Big Ten title in the next 4 or 5 years, right? Like, at some point it'll be just like Harbaugh, but the buyout conversation on him is going to be, $95 million, right? Ooh. And so what are the expectations? Like, what do you think Lincoln Riley is giving you with that kind of money? Because the one thing I'd say to everybody that talks about Bryan Kelly going to, and I've seen Booger talk about this today, saying, hey, 3 different coaches have won national championships at LSU. The last 3 coaches have won national championships, to which I would say, One of them was Nick Saban, and he quit to go to the NFL. The other two coaches that won national championships were fired afterwards, right?
Yep.
So winning a natty doesn't save your job in the SEC. So I don't understand the money that's going out because all of it is so stinking temporary.
Which hire? ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz with us here. Appreciate your time today, Jason. Thank you. But which hire is bigger for college football? Like Bryan Kelly leaving Notre Dame, that's huge. Leaving Notre Dame in general is huge. Leaving Notre Dame to go to the SEC and go to LSU, that's huge. But then you have Lincoln Riley going to take the USC job, and that's huge. I think that's big time for all of college football because it doesn't just make USC relevant again, it makes the entire Pac-12 relevant again for the first time in a long time. Is Lincoln Riley the bigger hire of the two? How do you kind of rank these, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, by far. And look, LSU is, to the point, the last three coaches have all won national championships. I think a lot of coaches could go to LSU and have success. I thought it was going to be Joe Brady going down there. So I think a lot of coaches can have success. Now, does it make LSU Alabama juicier? Yeah, 1,000%. But did that rivalry really need juice? No. And, I sat there and talked to the Pac-12 commissioner at the time about the difficulty they have with West Coast football, and everybody understands the reality of the situation, which is the metrics show by Sunday morning, most casual sports fans now just want NFL content. So they don't want college football highlights. So, if you score a touchdown in a Big 12 game, that touchdown is going to be replayed all afternoon. If you score that same touchdown in a Pac-12 game that's late at night, half the world isn't even going to see it because nobody's paying attention by Sunday morning. So Lincoln Riley forces people to pay attention, and USC is going to get a higher level of eyeballs. I'm really curious too, because to me, this is the Pac-12 making a school in the Pac-12 making a substantial investment that helps the entire conference. Let's not get it twisted. CBS is losing the CBS national game in a couple of years for the SEC, and they made it clear a few weeks ago that they want to partner with another conference for a 3:30 prime game. You want to tell me that this doesn't make USC juicier for that constant 3:30 game that people would watch on Saturday? So I think Lincoln Riley just forced eyeballs to watch more West Coast football, which is good for college football and also, good for the investment in the Pac-12. Much bigger hire.
Rankings, because those come out today because there's other things going on. But how does this play out come Saturday? How do these games play out, and what do you think the Final Four is going to be eventually on Sunday?
Yeah, so I think Alabama is going to get beat handily by Georgia. And Georgia's defense, I mean, if Auburn can get 7 sacks against Alabama, what's this Georgia defense going to do? And this Georgia defense is very Miami Hurricanes-like from the heyday. Like, it's just, I think we're going to look back on this Georgia defense and realize we were seeing something special. So I think Alabama is going to find themselves eliminated. I don't think Iowa can really compete with Michigan. As much as I would love to see a great game there, Michigan, just their ability to move the line of scrimmage, I think, was the most impressive thing against Ohio State. So I think Georgia and Michigan are clearly going to be 1 and 2, which means Cincinnati is going to be number 3 by the time this is all said and done. They'll beat Houston. They'll win the AAC, and we can just stop that chatter. We can finally get somebody in. That leaves that 4 seed, and that's where it gets really interesting because, it's going to come down to Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State can beat Baylor. The question is that enough of a win for them to leapfrog Notre Dame having not played? That is all going to depend on how it looks. By the time it's all said and done, I wouldn't be surprised to see Oklahoma State, I should say, find their way into that 4 spot. But I don't feel good about any of those teams at 4. I mean, whether it's Notre Dame, whether it's a 2-loss Alabama, or whether it's Oklahoma State, they're all going to get their butt kicked by Georgia in the first round.
Oh, man. ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. Jason, appreciate you hanging out with us each and every week. And last thing is we send you out. I told Kev this earlier. The one thing I love about the Pac-12 being relevant again now, hopefully Lincoln Riley, they get that train rolling quickly, is I want a year, we're talking about expanding the playoffs. We want 6, we want 8, we want 12, we want more than 4. And I'm thinking, you just said you don't feel good about any of the teams that could potentially land at 4 as far as that 4-versus-1 matchup. We have yet to really have a year where you've had 4 national championship contenders. I really want to see, before we leave the 14 playoff format, I want and this sounds bad that I'm rooting for 18, 19, and 20-year-olds to experience this kind of pain, but I want a national championship contender that misses the playoff because there's 5 or 6 contenders for 4 spots. We've yet to have that. I know that sounds mean of me to say that I'm rooting for that, but Jason, I want a team left out of the playoff that you literally could look at and say that team's good enough to win a championship, and that's why I'm pulling for other conferences to come up like the Pac-12. But man, I hope we see it at some point. So many people want an expanded playoff. I'm like, we've yet to really fill out a 4-team playoff with 4 legitimate contenders. I hope that changes soon.
Yeah, you're 1,000% right on that. Like, I think that would be the best thing for the sport too, is like to look at it and say, hey guys, we have to expand because their teams not let it see how it plays out on the field, but like there are teams that we've seen that are so stinking good. The problem is everybody always says, well, college football is going to college football. And I feel like that saves the committee every year, and I wish that it didn't happen that way. I was genuinely hoping we would get a year this year that saw a bunch of undefeated teams or a bunch of one-loss teams in a way that they were all equally deserving and all equally good from the eye test, where you could look at it and say, man, I genuinely don't know. And that's, there's a difference between, I don't know who we're putting in it for because there's a bunch of meh teams versus I don't know which one of these incredible teams is going in it for. And I'm with you. Like, I hope we see that at some point. I also think that, that's got to be in the back of the mind of everybody with college football as we talk about expansion. The powers that be don't want to see a bunch of 8 seeds get killed. And, playoff games that are decided by 40 points time and time again also isn't good for college football.
Rankings reaction. Tell everybody where they could find you later on tonight. You mentioned that you're going to be talking with Heather Dinich, college football playoff reporter for ESPN. Excited for the rankings revealed tonight because it sets the stage for Championship Saturday coming up, or Championship Weekend, I should say. Where can people find you tonight on Rankings Reaction and all the other projects you're involved in?
Yeah, Rankings Reaction tonight is 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern in the ESPN app and also on all of the ESPN socials. So Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Me, Mike Golick Jr., Christine Williamson, Heather Dinich always joins us. Gary Barta has joined us, and we always make sure that we ask the tough questions. The good news is I don't have the platform of Reese, so I don't have to be as professional as he is. So we'll ask all the tough ones, guys. That much we can promise.
Jason Shaw's mad at you now too, by the way. I don't think he's going to be tuning into you tonight, but we will, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, so Shaw, put your money where your mouth is. That's all I'm saying. All right. Appreciate you guys.
Take care, Jason.
Later.
Bye.
Oh, man. That's going to be a promo.
Shaw is pissed.
Big mad.
He called us liars.
Huh? We ain't cappers.
Well, I'm willing to at least ask the question. He is saying that he never said that he never watches the game.
We got the audio. We are.
He's like legitimately mad. Like he even threatened not to listen anymore. And you know my theory on that. Change the channel. I can't please them all. Bottom line is, did he or did he not say that he doesn't watch the game anymore because he's too miserable around family? Or did he say he's not going to watch this year because he's always miserable watching the game in years past? Everyone piled on him for saying he never watches the game, so I don't think we're wrong in that. We'll have to go back and listen. But
I think those are semantics.
Oh, his panties are in a wad, dude.
Those are semantics. He said he wasn't going to watch this game, and we were convincing him or trying to convince him to watch the game. If he didn't watch it wasn't the game last year. If he didn't watch the year before, whatever. He called on this show and was talking about he wasn't going to watch this year's game for sure. And we had to convince him to watch. As a matter of fact, he didn't even watch the whole game. He missed the whole first quarter. You know what I'm saying? So not a real Michigan fan. Not a real Michigan fan, dog. I'm saying he's a bandwagon fan. He's a bandwagon fan.
Ron Broadstock says,
I like his team more than he likes his team.
I know.
And I hate Michigan.
Ron, real quick, shout out to Ron Broadstock. He says, off to Taco Tuesday. I'll finish on the radio. Everyone have a good night and go Buckeyes. Go. Oh, it cut out. I didn't go Bengals. Whatever. Ugh, whatever. So, no, but dude, he's ticked.
Oh.
Look at this. He goes, the Justin Kinner show. Really? You're going to lie like that and then have the nerve to tell me to calm down? Calm down, Shaw.
Put some pill emojis in the chat.
Oh, yeah. And then he goes on to say, Kev, and then you get a national host to dog me. Not cool, bro. IO, not cool, bro. That's what you get for talking smack. This started with you, Shaw. Don't get mad at everyone else for how you act. I'm just saying. You got to learn how to be like me. We'll be back in a moment. Oh, that's a great title on the song. The whole state of Michigan. The whole state of Michigan. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. Because Larry David Shaw. O-H.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
My son is not some statistic.
My daughter's not a headline. My girl, she's not someone's agenda.
What she is irreplaceable. COVID hospitalizations of young people have tripled since the start of summer.
So I talked to my daughter's doctor about COVID vaccines.
She said they're highly effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths, even from the Delta variant.
We can do this. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Mike Foley.
And I'm Kettering Clerk of Court Rob Scott.
We're teaming up together to expand access to justice in our community. Our Help Center provides legal information and access to legal programs free of charge.
The Help Center can't provide legal advice, but if you need information on a wide range of legal issues, check in with the Help Center at Kettering Municipal Courthouse on the second and third Mondays of the month at no cost to you.
I'm Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Mike Foley.
And I'm Kettering Clerk of Court Rob Scott.
Visit courthouse2u.com.
Hundreds of thousands of people have said goodbye to their overpriced Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile plans and switched to Pure Talk. It's CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Did you know Pure Talk gives you the same great coverage on the same great 5G network as one of the big guys for about half the cost? The average family is saving over $800 a year. You can keep your number